Hello, everybody, and welcome to Roll Together RPG and to the next episode of our Chronicles of Aeodrun series. This is another Origin episode. This is Chronicles of Aeodrun Origins Lilly, Part 2. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us tonight. Before we get into tonight's session, we have a couple of sponsors and supporters we have to thank. I'm doing things slightly differently this time because my brain is not working. We are proud to be sponsored by Phoenix Dice. You can go to phoenixdice.com to get yourself some lovely clickety-clack math rocks, including some limited edition Roll Together dice, which Tom is beautifully displaying right there. If you use code Roll Together, all in caps, at checkout, you can get 25% off of your purchase. We are also proud to be supported by Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. Put exclamation point code into chat right now to get yourself a free Electrum chest, which you can use to get yourself some free items and things for all of the heroes that you can gather and do adventures throughout the multiverse and all that sort of stuff. We are also proud to be supported by and support Michael Dobson's character art. Mike does all of the wonderful artwork for the Aeodrun series. If you'd like to see your own characters done in that exact same art style, follow the link in chat or description below to go to Mike's Instagram page and hit him up for a commission. Massive thank you to the D20 Club on Patreon. They are fantastic. They are the best. You can join them from as little as one of your local currency per month or one goat, which must be sent to Tom for various reasons. Speaking of Tom, because I did this the wrong way round, I have two lovely players with me tonight, and I'm going to get them to introduce themselves now, starting with Tom.
Hello, everyone. My name's Tom. I use he, him pronouns, as does my character. His name is Bram Shatteroak. At this point in the timeline, he's a boatman in the swamps. Muscular, handsome, plays the lute, your first boyfriend who isn't a jerk, and you're like, oh, I'm glad he's doing well. Yeah.
Awesome. And then we are also joined by Scarlet.
She gets us
Hi. I'm Scarlet. I go by she, they, and I am playing Lilly, who is she, her. I'm a sorceress, a dragonkin. I am the cutest patoot that ever did boop.
T-shirt.
And then the final thing I'm going to say before we do that title run sequence thing is if you are watching us on YouTube, please do consider leaving a like, commenting on the video, and subscribing to the channel, because it lets us know what you like so we know what to make more of for you. Now, hit that title sequence. In the first episode of Lilly's Origins, we met Lilly, or Lilyrith, who is a dragonkin who lived in the town of Volgara with her father Valdris and her brother Teldry, I believe his name was. You called him Terry. Teldry, yes, his name was Teldry. And they live a happy life. Her father was the sort of head of the town, and life was good. Life was great. Then her brother came back from sort of serving as a mercenary type deal, and the Imperium attacked the village as they were trying to make a foothold in the swamps so that they could move on and attack the wider kingdom beyond the swamps. And Lilly tried to get out but got stuck in a cave because there was a cave in. Was feeling very tired the entire time and woke up quite a long time later to a lot of bones all over the place. Sleepy BBs. Managed to get out of the cave, did some hiding in her house, and then bumped into one Abraham Shatteroak, who had been sent from Erethinis, a town to the south, to collect parts to repair their bathhouse. It's also a swamp town, so they have to filter out the water and make it nice and clean and all of that sort of stuff. The pair of them got to know each other a little bit, and we ended the session with them both setting sail for the town of Erethinis. Now, for the purposes of this session, we are going to go ahead just a little bit in time. Both of you managed to get back to Erethinis, and Bram, you were able to take Lilly up to where you currently live, which is like a little shack apartment type thing. The repairs were made to the bathhouse and will come in about a week after you've gotten back. What would the pair of you have been doing during that week?
I think a lot of this depends on how Lilly is, because Bram has very much been like, yes, you can live with me, assuming that she would want to go somewhere else. I don't think she has. If she's getting used to it, she's sort of picked up, because like, this is very much it's tidy, but it's like, it's guy space. There was someone else who was living here, because I'm sure as you went poke around in the drawers, there were a sort of possibly an older woman's clothing, but I think you would be like, yeah, it's probably his mum, but no sign of her.
That or Bram has a type.
Well, very, very, very possibly. I think actually, if you've been poking around in the drawers,
100% have been, yeah.
you have found kind of older letters that were sent by. He seemed to have had a female pen pal who signs off as G, and so you're like, ooh. But yes, it's it's a question mark, kiss, kiss. Yeah, again, he's quite tidy. There are little wooden carvings around. It seems that's his sort of like downtime hobbies, to carve things.
We'll 100% touch them and play with them.
I think, and again, they're sort of like, some of them are like strangely articulated, that he's obviously like put like little pegs in, so like birds, they kind of flap, and like the heads, they're actually quite nice. He's put some effort in, but
Very
again,
skilled at it.
Yeah, the wood's very clear, like swamp wood, so it's not the best. There is also sort of hanging up on pegs a mace and a shield. Also in the corner on like a little stand, there is a quite sort of, I think I said it was like dark wood carved lute, which I think if you've been hanging out with him, he has asked, do you play instruments? And if you want to touch it, he's been nervous, but he's let you. But he has played for you. Yeah, as you just ding, 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 ding. He has sort of said, yes, I work, I take my dinghy called Hawthorne out into the swamps. Do you want to work? That's sort of like, well, he's not forced. Yeah, but he's just like, yeah, as Lilly gags on the mere thought. Do you think you stay in the house, or do you come out with me?
Well, she is pretty traumatized still, and is just like, okay, this guy's safe. Okay, this house is safe. We'll state that the house is good. The house is a safe space. We like this house. And little traumatized by everything, and it's just being annoying and lazy. That's just her anyway. But just like, no, I feel safe right now. I don't want to jinx it. Just doesn't quite know what to do with herself.
You've been staying in the apartment by yourself.
Being 100% nosy and going through everything. Yeah. If there's any kind of written word, letter, book, reading it.
Have you said that you want books?
Yes.
Bram is doing his best to, I think while there's people travelling through, there's a kind of sort of library, but he's doing his best to try and to order things, and to sort of like, having asked, what do you want to read? And also being aware where you're like, oh, this book in the series, there are no more. And Bram's like, but there's like 4 more. They've come out in the last few years.
What?
What? Does the prince get a kiss? Yeah.
Finally?
Bram is doing his best to try and give you things, and, has also said if there is anything in particular you want books. Do you want paper? Do you want pen? Do you want paint? Do you want, pretty much has accepted that you are his you are his ward now. Having also asked you in the gentlest way, do you know anybody else? Is there anyone else you want to know that you're here?
She will mention her dad, but there's obviously a lot of fear and concern when she mentions it. She doesn't she's terrified that she's going to jinx it.
Right. In the sort of weird sort of like guild of watermen or whatever you want to call it, like Bram is starting to put out like feelers to the other boat people and being like, cool, we're looking for a dragonkin. This,
Who do you talk to about that? I know you said the guild people, but do you talk to anybody else about it?
I think I talked to the mayor.
Probably a good thing, because when you talk to the mayor's like, his name's Adrara. Adrara. Mr. Adrara. He is, that's all you know him as. He doesn't tell you what his first name is or anything. He's human. And when you give the description that Lilly gave you of her father, do you give Bram your father's name as well?
Yes.
Yeah. When you say looking for this man, a dragonkin named Valdris, looks like this, and Adrara's like, Valdris, you say? I know Valdris. He was a good friend of mine. We were both. I'm leader of Erethinus. He was leader of Volgara before it fell to the Imperium. He came through here a few years ago, completely destroyed because he'd lost his entire family and the entire town due to the Imperium attack. Although the other citizens of the town do not know that it was the Imperium that attacked. We did not want to put a panic through the town, although we did make sure that the defences and all that was shored up just in case. But he left to go west when he left here a number of years ago now.
West, right.
Why are you looking for him?
I'm going to do insight.
Yeah.
Also, I think knowing that Lilly is concerned, but Scarlet, do I get the feeling Lilly wants her father to be found?
Yes, very much. But she's scared.
And people know Lilly is in the town as well. It's just nobody's thought to put two and two together, sort of thing.
16 insight, like
he seems generally shocked that you've asked about this particular person who is supposed to be the lone survivor of the town up north and has came through and has gone. So he's confused and shocked that you'd mentioned his name, because he thought why nobody would know who this person is. So but there doesn't seem to be any malice or traitorous sort of tendencies to him or anything.
Right. So when you knew this gentleman, did you meet his family?
Yes. His son would come through here quite a lot. Young Teldry, he would always go off towards West Hook to go off on the boats, or we'd send him west to go into the main sort of country and things. And I only met Valdris's daughter a handful of times. She very rarely left the town itself. Well, in fact, she never left the town itself. It was only when I went up there that I would ever see her, but I knew she existed.
That's my house guest. That's the daughter.
She's been up there the entire time? How has she survived?
I don't know. I explain and I say basically that there's just bodies.
That's to be expected. I always thought that there would be bodies up there that were never buried, and I never wanted to send anybody up there. One, because nobody else knew about it, and two, I didn't want to disturb their remains.
I think. Well, this is interesting where we get into like funeral rites in this world, where Bram sort of like, I think that they, they've been lying out there in the swamp for the last 5 years. I think they deserve some kind of consecration. If we can, one of the priests I could take them up.
I mean, normally I would speak to the leader of the town about that to see if that was okay, because it's dealing with the dead of their town. But if Valdris's daughter is here and Valdris is not, then she's technically the next in line. So I'm not prepared to send anybody up there unless she gives her blessing.
Would you be willing to come to my house, sir? She's very nervous about being out in public.
Of course, yes. I won't speak to anybody about it. I will come to your house to speak with her, and I'd like to check in on her. Valdris was a good friend of mine.
I think she would appreciate that. I think she's nervous, but I think she needs help, and I think she needs kindness. And so her west, you say?
West towards the mainland, yes. Towards the went into the main country. He never said exactly where it was he was going. He just said that he needed to go he needed to find himself. He'd lost everything and he had nothing left to live for.
Aren't we? We're on the west coast of the continent, though.
Yes, I mean east.
I was going to say, because like mentally I got the map up and I was like, I'm pretty sure it's the sea, the other side of the swamp.
I mean east. Yeah. Josh's brain here.
Again, okay.
Josh's brain is checked out.
So east.
East towards the main kingdom.
Right.
It is of. I would say that it is of a. How can I put this delicately? It is good to know that the magical effects of the rising did not hit the swamp. With how long that we've been out of contact with Volgara, with those bodies being there for as long as they have, the magical elements that were unleashed with the rising would have risen the dead, but obviously didn't get here. So it's good to know. Otherwise, they would have. That was another concern of mine, that there was just walking undead around.
I was sort of prepared for that. So I still got like the machete at his side. I don't think she knows about the rising. I'll tell you what, sir, if you can come maybe sort of, I think this is maybe come this evening.
Yes, I have a few things that I need to deal with, town-related things that I need to deal with first, but I can, when I clock off tonight, I can make my way over to yours before I go home.
Thank you. So I'm going to. I'm going to go back and talk to her, see how she is, but I think she would appreciate having the information. You haven't got to. She's very excitable, so she will probably get very excited about whatever crumbs of information you have. So just be prepared. But I think she deserves to know the truth, whatever we can tell her.
Okay, yes, I will see you tonight. Thank you for bringing this to me, Abraham. It's good to know.
I'll see you this evening, sir.
I'll see you this evening, and you can leave his office.
Yeah. Step out, and then again, I keep thinking things like a video game where we kind of see the camera panning up, and you're like, here we are in the town. Do you want to re-describe? I'm going to be walking back. Do you just want to know what the town looks like as I walk back, Josh?
Do I want to know what the town looks like, or do I want to describe? Yes, for the audience.
Yeah.
So Erethinis is another swamp-based town. It's out in the It's more in the centre of the Grimmerk marshes. And I've described it before slightly in the last session, where I said that Volgara was on like high stilts and gangplanks and all of that sort of stuff, whereas Erethinis is closer to the water and it has some of its ramps that go into the water to allow ships to be pulled up. The difference between the two is that Erethinis relies more on the dense foliage and trees for the town to form, whereas Volgara relies more on the mountain. So the town itself is broken up into 3 sections. The lower section, which is where all of the rafts and the general marketplace and general businesses of the town are, it's the largest section as well, that is primarily on gangplanks and like pier-like structures and all of that sort of stuff. It's where the open bar is, and by open bar I mean it's a bar that's not in a building. It has a roof. It's not an open bar as in all drinks are free. Don't try that one on me. The next level is where you'll find the Church of Balance, the bathhouse, and more of like the business officey type things. That's where you've just come from, the mayor's office, and a few houses, a few of the homes are dotted up in some of the trees here. And then the upper level was where everybody primarily lives. It's high enough that it's away from, if anything attacks does happen to attack the town. It's very rare that you'll get like a crocodile or an octotoad or something that will jump up and try and attack, because the town is very well defended, and it takes up a large span of the marshlands. So it's a lot of the trees and all of that are used for it, and the foliage over the top acts as a sort of like natural shield from the elements, although rain can get through at times, but you've got that sort of safe blanket as well. That's the town.
It's also, I think we said, quite warm and muggy because it's a swamp.
Yeah,
so
it's very warm and musky. The humidity levels are always at 100% here.
Yeah. Moist.
Moist.
Yeah, Bram sort of like travels across. Like, if anyone says hello, he's sort of like, he's polite.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those towns where everybody knows everybody and everybody says hello to everybody. So as you come out of the mayor's office, you see a couple of people and they're like, "Morning, Bram.
Morning.
Been to see the mayor, have you?"
Oh, got to check in with the mayor.
Yep, got to do your check-ins. Are you on your shift today?
I'm day off today, but I'm out tomorrow. You need anything from the swamps?
No, I'm all good. We're all good, thank you. We just had a shipment come in. Thank you very much, lad. You're a good boy.
Hey, always happy to help.
Tell your house guest we said hello.
Will do. I'm like, everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
Everybody knows. Trying to smuggle her up in a blanket. Like Lily's just like,
you try to smuggle her up in a blanket, and all the shutters are all open. And like, "Hello, Bram," as you walk past.
Well, I think Bram, being a personable person and nice, but I think a lot of people don't know a lot about him. So
yeah, people know each other by name, but like knowing their personal business is sort of a different thing.
And I think he's made himself. He's capable, and as he said, like, Bram is someone that is very good with the dinghy and can go get you things and like gets if there was like a rating system, he's out. He's got a good few stars on him, sort of like he's good at his job. Also, he smuggled a dragon woman in. It's strange folk around these parts. Yeah, just dragon woman wearing his spare coat. Again, sort of like in the week, I have restocked the dinghy and the supplies, and also now sort of like have started buying like new, like Bram's now buying spices. Bram is starting to ask about books and
Bram's experimenting.
Yeah, Bram's been experimenting. Yeah. Get back to our apartment and give the do knock so Lily knows it's me, because we made it clear. And she suggested the haircut knock. Bram would have come up with a more complicated one, but it's efficient. And let myself.
The mage hand will open it.
Yeah. Thank you. Walk in, hat onto the stand. He's had a haircut in the week. The mullet is less of a mullet now. He's had a sensible. Yeah. Do you want him to keep the mullet?
She like the mullet.
He hasn't had. He's growing it out again. Yeah. Just
He went to have it cut, came home, Lily went, oh, and now you're growing it back again.
Yeah. So, like, the way I'm picturing it is it's a sort of like open plan. It's like a 2-room thing. There's like a kitchen, there's like a sofa where Bram is sleeping, and in the back there is a
Washroom and a single bedroom.
Yeah. And a bed where Lily has taken up. I think Bram has been sleeping on the sofa pretty much since he got here because his mother had, I think we said that in the previous episode, had the room and he just hasn't taken it, because he's like, oh, she'll be back. And then he got used to the sofa. Coming back in and he's like, I'm back.
She's furiously looking over her Dragon King book, which is very old, and you could tell by that it's very used and well loved. Just and also taking notes in the side. Just very.
Right, good to see. How are you? How are you doing?
Good. You okay? Did you good out? Good out.
Good out.
Okay.
I sort of like leaning on. I don't know where he got a milk frother from, but he did some trading. He's doing his best to make frothy coffee now, and I've actually kind of got a taste for it now. It's like it's like
It's actually very nice.
yeah. So he's making coffee. I went to go talk to the mayor actually. About
Cool, look up. Huh?
Yeah, about you actually.
Awkward. Okay.
Yeah. He is going to come round this evening because he knew your father.
What's his name?
Adradra.
Okay, DM.
Yes.
When did I see him? How
When
old
did
was
you
I?
see him?
Yeah, when did I meet this man? Would I remember it?
I mean, this is Lily we're talking about.
Yeah.
Lily can either remember naturally or you can roll a history check.
If it was an important visit when Dad was all in and wanted to show off his children,
Yeah.
then she would remember it.
Yeah. Then you remember meeting this man. It was probably for you, because time doesn't pass when you're in the slumber. So for you, it was probably 2 years ago. But obviously time's passed since then. It was the last time that you saw him. He had come up to Volgara in order to speak with your father regarding a new set of swamp trails that were going to be dug out in order for new travel lines to be made to get places quicker, and they needed to work together along with the mayor of West Hook to the west, in order to sort of decide where to dig these trails, and workforces from all three towns would come together to perform that work. And every time they have these sort of important marsh meetings, as they called them, because the meetings affected the entire marsh, they'd always go to different locations, and at this particular time your family hosted it, and your father had cooked them a nice meal and everything, and you were asked to join them at the table. Your brother wasn't there at that point. He was off doing some work, so that's when you would have met him. And he was, from your memory, he was a very kind man. He was quite he was in his late 30s when you met him. He was very kind. He bought gifts for all three of you, not realising your brother wasn't going to be there, which were like foodie-based gifts and stuff. And he was just very nice.
Mary Dradra.
Adradra, yeah, no,
Adara.
Adara, yeah.
She will say Adradra.
Adradra.
And you said that to him when you met him, and he laughed.
Yeah.
And never corrected you.
It was our household joke.
Yeah.
All right. Well, no, he's a good man. He's an honest man. I thought it was worth. Lil, I'm gonna be sort of blunt with you. I wanted to find out what happened, and I also thought it was only right that those poor souls back in the town, basically, he has said that he wants to talk to you. First of all, your father, came through.
When? When?
About 5 years ago.
5 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might have been longer than that. I can't quite remember how long Lily was asleep for, but yeah, it would have been around that sort of time.
I think Bram sort of like, having not been given a precise date, sort of says,
Yeah.
from what, not knowing what has happened to Lily, being like, about 5 years ago,
5 years.
headed.
Okay, she's
Yeah.
she's writing in this book again. 5. That's 5. What season? You know what season?
I don't. He's coming here to talk to you because I was talking about the poor souls in that town. Like, it seems citizens of this town weren't told about the attack, the Imperium. They didn't want to scare them, and no one has been.
They should be scared.
Well, yes. There's other things I need. Basically, your father obviously was the mayor.
Yes.
You are. Well, I'm not sure this is actually how mayorhood would work, but basically, you're the lone survivor. He wants to talk to you about what happened and what you want done with the bodies. There's something else I need to. While you were. Does the rising mean anything to you?
You mean like when the tide in the swamp sort of rises up a little bit and it sort of goes up a few notches? Yeah, we notch it every year. We had on a special post.
So, Lily, it didn't happen in this swamp, and we're not sure why, but a few years ago, the dead rose. The undead have been...
The dead.
The dead.
Actual dead.
Dead, and also people getting bitten and turned. The seas are impenetrable. These creatures, and like the stories of like terrible beasts rising up from the ocean. Basically, it happened, it was terrible, and then it just stopped. No one knows why. But
So the ocean made the dead.
No one's sure, but like the other there's other continents out there.
I know there's other continents.
Yeah.
It's in some of my books.
Yeah, we haven't heard from these other continents for a few years because we can't cross the seas.
Wait, how many years? How many years ago?
Oh, you would know that it's been at least 50 years since anybody's been able to actually leave across on ship or by the air. Not that many people could travel. Not that many people can travel by air, but like at least boats haven't been able to go out into what people call the deep sea for at least 50 years.
But it's got worse.
But it's got worse because there's now. Lily wouldn't know this, but this is obviously what you're trying to explain to her. Is there's now creatures that are sort of living in what is known as the shallows, which is the sort of body of water that surrounds the continent, sort of like the tectonic plate sort of area before it drops off into the deep. I
think if Lily, I like to think Lily's got the book, and if there's a map, and Bram sort of like runs his finger around the sort of like the continental shelf, and he's like, things can't they have sailors, you know how hard it was to get across the oceans, but now those who got lost are rising up again and biting. They call them drowners. They've got they bite you and you freeze up and then they drag you out. But there were things out on the land. My point being that your father went out around that time. So the mayor is going to be able to give you more information. I want Lily, you don't seem to know what's happened in a good few years. I don't know what you were doing, but the world is different than when we were young.
Oh, okay. Well, turn the big pages of a dragonkin book and rest on the hibernation sleep. Okay. From what I'm gathering, this happened. I slept. I was in the cave. Okay, when everything was happening, it was really confusing, and it was a lot of blah blah and men raw, and then we ran, and then it was go to the boats, and we were running to the boats, and then in the cave, and then then I was so tired, and I fell asleep.
You fell asleep.
Yeah. That's what my book says.
Right, and
I think, from what you say, when my dad came through, 5 years.
right. So.
Yep.
They used to. I think you meant they used to have the marsh meetings. I mean, the mayor might know, the mayor of West Hook again. If it's okay with you, I'm gonna start. If you're okay, I can start sending out the other boat folk can start sending out. You know, because as we're traveling, there is actually no. There's someone who always would say, you know, you can trust me, you can ask me for help, but I haven't heard from him in a good few years. He took me in when bad things happened to me. His name's Solomon. He's an adventurer actually. He worked with my parents. I might again. I've been sending him letters, but I haven't heard. My mother was travelling with me, and she one day she said she needed to go solve something, and she's also missing. I don't know what's happened to her, but
Great. Okay.
great.
Okay. That explains some of the things in the drawers. Okay.
Blinks a couple of times, and then is like, "Well, I'm not surprised." And then he thinks, "Did I leave anything? No, nothing's happened." Where are my letters? Oh my God, where are my letters? Brown tries to not let that show.
You're very open over there.
Make an insight check, please, Lily. Make a disadvantage check, please, Bram. Make a deception check with disadvantage, please, Bram.
Perception check, did you say? Or insight?
Insight, yeah, because these letters are quite important to Bram.
Okay.
4.
18.
You can read him like a book. He tries to hide it, not very well.
That they're very important.
Yeah. No.
I mean, they seemed really important. I mean, they're over there. I didn't move them anywhere else. They're just over there, open.
No, it's so my parents were adventurers.
Yes.
And there were about 20-something years ago, there were 2 groups of adventurers.
Yeah.
Weirdly, like all male or female, and they hated each other.
Oh.
And so they would like hunt wolves. They would always like drinking contests, and they hated each other. And then they started kissing.
Oh.
And so my da and my ma got together, and Greta's G's.
Greta, yeah.
Greta.
Oh, Greta.
Greta.
Okay, you just always say, gee, why did you do that?
I just
Really?
yeah, because this is the thing. You obviously are reading her letters to me,
Yeah.
which have got like notes and like references. So I think in your like playing with your little wooden toys, you're like, oh,
Like,
lovely.
ooh,
Yeah.
gee, ooh.
I miss you so much. Thank you for showing me the interesting plants. Yeah. So yeah, he's like, and so her parents, and so we kind of were raised together.
Yeah.
Sort of like, and when I was quite young, something bad happened. My father died. He was saving a town. There were harpies. He got, and my mother took it incredibly hard. But that's the thing. So Greta's father, he lost an arm in the attack, and they went off to, settle down. They were rangers, they were herbalists. But so I was writing to Greta, and I also lost contact with them about the time of the rising. So I'm sure I haven't heard from them either.
Okay.
I think you've told me stuff about you, and I think it's fair that I would, if you would let me, I would like to help you with your problem, to see if we can help find your father.
Okay. And I'm very smart, and I'm good with reading, and I learned stuff from my dad. I'm not my dad, but I learned a lot of stuff. My brother. My brother's better at the adventuring and going out and stabbing things. But I can help you as well.
Oh, you would appreciate. Do you want to learn how to stab things?
I don't really need to.
That's fair. No, I don't know magic, so.
That's no. I didn't.
No. I'm just.
I'm gonna run.
You can
undo sword. I'm be like.
No, I mean
magic. I don't have to stab. It stabs. Me.
Your sword.
It's not mine. It's my brother's.
Your brother's.
My brother's sword.
Stabs for you.
Yeah. Well, and I haven't tried yet. Okay, it's very. It's grumpy. It didn't always like me that much. Okay. But sword will stab. Hopefully, so I don't have to learn.
Okay. Bram has experienced magic items, but also is like, Lily is a special kind of person, and so Bram is very sort of patiently nodding, going, "Okay, yes, you don't stab. Sword stabs for you." Right.
Yeah, literally, this is what sword does when it's not grumpy.
Okay, I was going to teach you, but you know how to. Like, I have to do. You've seen. I have to do my exercises.
People, I like watching you do those. It's very good. Yeah, but sword does it on its own. I don't have to stretch.
Okay.
The sword is just in the scabbard, not doing anything.
No,
Yeah,
no,
like I said, it's grumpy. I mean, it would really help if it shut.
Bram
No, I just
has not seen the sword
crazy.
move.
No, it's fine, sword.
React. It's just she's just talking to her sword. It's fine. Right. So my point being, by the way, hands the frothy coffee that he's been making during this conversation.
Makes it very.
He's very quickly, having been quite like, what do you like, has got that and is experimented and is sort of like, has been making food that, when he was like, what would kind of comfort you, but also being aware, I'm not making like the food your father would make you, because that seems wrong at this moment. That he's got decent insight and being like, cool, there's soft, sore spot, sweet. So he's been focusing more on the dessert side, or kind of honeyed food, you know, sort of like if you're having salad, there is a sweet salad dressing, you know, sort of, and it's actually quite well-rounded food. That I think, as you said, we realise he's now cooking for two, and it's sort of like, yeah. So having sort of had it, so as I said, the mayor's coming tonight. He can talk to you. You are the unofficial mayor of the town. So you can. He's gonna ask you. There might be another marsh meat. They might. I mean, I had a look. I mean, the place is not in the best nick, but it's not ruined as badly as it could be. So there might be the possibility that you can get it up and running again. Obviously, we're going to need to fix the bathhouse.
Yeah, you have to fix the bathhouse. It's the heart of a whole marsh town, you know. The bathhouse is very important.
Again, if you want to, I understand that you're not keen on going out, but if you want to go to the bathhouse, you know, there's the people. The people here are nice, Lil. You know, I understand you don't really, but they're good, honest people.
Okay, I could go to the bath. It opens at night, right?
Yeah, that's like because we're sort of like a 24-hour place here. I mean, be careful for the mists, but you know.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, that'd actually be better actually in the misty, and I won't make a lot of attention, you know.
People know you're here. They don't know who you are, but they know that I've got a house guest, and they also say...
Well, every now and then you see a little smiley face pop up through the window. It's terrifying, but everyone's very smiley.
They are. That's...
like, I'm just wafting out my washing, Pete. You know, it's a little...
Look, they're very nice, but they're very curious. I mean, but they like a bit of gossip, but they also can keep your secrets, if you know what I mean. This isn't where I thought I'd end up, but there's a lot of worse places out there.
Yeah.
But like comes over and gets sort of like sits on the sofa. I assume you were on the sofa, sits next to you. Look,
a lot of blankets.
Yeah. Sinks down into the blanket slowly. It's in your court, Lil. I'm happy to help you as much as you want. I think the mayor would. Well, you've met him. You know what it's like. I think he would. Like I said, you're going to have a lot of choices on you, which you don't. If you don't want to take them, you don't have to, obviously.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I just thought I know this was a surprise, but I thought you'd like to know.
Okay. Well, I'm for what it's worth, I'm glad you settled here, because then you know you could find me.
Yeah, it's things happen for a reason. That's what my ma would say. And I'm glad I was able to get you out there.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. sort of slightly headbutts you, you know.
Tries not to.
Yeah. Oh God! Oh my God!
No.
Oh no, Bram should have been wearing an eye patch throughout the entire campaign.
Shoot! I'm 30 episodes and I've forgotten to wear my eye patch.
I will say that when it comes to your hunger, Lily, it's not as bad as it was when you first woke up. You're more back to your body's back to regulated itself back to normal now.
Well, Lily likes to eat anyway. She's a fan of her noms.
I've been saving up money, so again, I've just been like, and also I said he's buying like new stuff, and also sort of connected with that the people he was talking to earlier said, oh, there's a new shipment in, and he's like, right, let's see what in his mental checklist, like, right, let's see what we've got. So, but also I think having said, oh, you know, we can go to the bathhouse, he kind of also says, you know, these kind of lists off people, places. The open bar, which might not be exactly her vibe because she doesn't drink and is not that social at the moment. But yeah, as Lily gags, he's like, all right, not the bar, but the bathhouse. The bathhouse is very pleasant.
Bathhouse is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome. So you both. It gets towards the evening time, and you hear a light knock on the door.
Bram's sort of like in his shirt sleeves, sort of like casual clothes, goes to the door.
You open the door, and Mr. Adara is stood there. He's holding a steaming hot dish. He's got like little mitten gloves on. He's holding a dish, and it looks to be some sort of a lasagna that's inside it. He's like, "Sorry, I had to. The wife came into the office at one point, and I said that I would be popping in to see you. Didn't say why, but I said I'd be popping in to see you. And she said, "Oh, you must take young Bram a lasagna that I've made." So I have lasagna.
Oh, thank you. What's the wife's name?
You just know her as Mrs. Adara.
Oh, thank you to the Mrs. Adara. That's incredibly kind.
Stephanie Adara.
I give Stephanie my gratitude. That's incredibly kind.
May I come in?
Of course. Just as this will come in, it's like I've talked to her. She does know. I think she's willing to sort of work through some stuff.
Okay, that's good. I'll just put this in.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Puts that on the kitchen counter and stuff, and he gingerly walks over towards where Lily sat. He's like, "Hello, do you remember
Mr.
me?"
Blah
Yes, Mr. Blah Blah. Yes.
We'll jump up and hug him.
Mr. Oh, it's good. You don't look like you've not aged that much.
I mean, was grey hair. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Hi.
No, you're fine.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Hi. You smell the same.
Thank you. How have you been? How? I have so many questions for you. Just how?
How? There's a lot of hows.
Have you been up there this entire time?
Think so? Yes.
How have you survived? It's been so long.
That's a funny. I was asleep.
Right. Okay. I won't go in. I won't ask any more into that. I suppose. Young Abraham came to see me earlier today with a request, and I said that I needed to speak to you first before any actions were put into place.
Yes. Business is business.
Yes.
Yeah.
Abraham, would you mind
Of course.
plating up some lasagna for us, please?
No.
Bram's already sort of like going in, like into the cupboard, so we sort of like see his head pop up. He's getting things ready. He's also got, I don't know if we've got garlic, but it's a sort of garlicky bread. Sort of like he's prepping. I think I said salad. It's the sweet. He's already into like cooking mode.
Yeah. And sort of Mr. Adara will lead you over to the sort of dining area and will take a seat with you. So Bram raised a concern that those in your village that had fallen have not been given the proper rites of burial, and he would like to go up there and do that. I said that I was not happy to even entertain that idea unless I had approval from the leader of the town. Now, as your father is not here, that decision would, and you're the only other surviving member of the town, that decision would fall to you. So if you would be happy with it, we can go up there and start performing the burial rites for your people.
Yep.
Only if you're comfortable with it.
Yeah. No. It will be good for them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have to ask, are there any Imperials there?
There's a few.
There was a lot.
Okay. That is completely up to you if you also wish to give them the same burial rites, or we can just dump their bodies in the swamp. Their remains in the swamp.
We could research what their customs, if we know any, and perform them. We don't have to be like them.
Their bodies is generally burnt.
Then we'll burn them respectfully.
I think
Okay.
if Lily looks up, she looks at Bram, who is actually kind of looking impressed that you could kind of, like a video game, you've passed like a moral test for him. Where he's like,
Bram
I'm not-
approves.
Yeah, Bram
Bram will remember this.
Bram will remember this, and the fact that, you know, you had absolutely every reason to like dump the bodies, but he wouldn't have approved of that. But the fact you were been like, yeah, sort of like nods, and smiles at you, and he's like, yeah, support.
Okay. I must tell you that I did not let the people of this town know what had happened to your town. I only found out because your father travelled through. I chose not to tell them because I didn't want to raise a panic throughout the town that I then couldn't get under control.
You should have, though, because they came out of nowhere. They swarmed us really quickly. So, warning to your people at least.
Not so much to the civilians for that very reason, but to those who could scout out for potential threats in the swamps. Yes, they're kind of what we did in a sense. So just to make sure that everybody was safe. I didn't want to cause a widespread panic and didn't want to cause people to just up and leave their homes or to stay and not leave, if that makes any sort of sense. You know, when you've lived in a place for a certain amount of time, you may not want to leave, even if that means your life is in danger.
Did they hit anyone else? Did they come for anyone else?
I contacted the mayor of Westhook, and they were not affected by anything. They did say that a few bodies washed up through the marsh in their town that were wearing Imperium armor, probably some that had gotten lost on their way to Vorgara, but it is believed that they took a less trodden path to get to there. It seems taking Westhook and then attacking here was not on their agenda, so there must have been another reason why they wanted Vorgara.
And you have no information why, or any hint as to why?
No, and when your father came through here, he didn't know anything that might have made them want to attack there rather than the other places. Tactically, it would have made sense for them to have gone for Westhook first, taken the known paths to get here, take here, and then make their way to Vorgara, but they didn't. They just went straight for your home.
I was there. Like you said, they
We-
came from nowhere.
I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. He goes to put a hand on your shoulder, but sort of pulls his hand back, and I'm sorry.
Yeah. My brother is. My brother is in the cave. It looks up around. Whoever goes up can. He's in the cave, okay?
Yeah. I know the priests of this place. That I can. I'll go. Do you want? Lily, do you want? I can. Did he have like a necklace or anything? Is there anything you want from?
You tell from scales.
Yeah.
Scales remain.
I'll bring the scales. Yeah. Having I put the food out. I actually sort of like I'm sitting on the arm of the sofa, and I think actually sort of like arm comes round. Like this is the first time I've fully I've done like a headbutt thing, but I'm like holding you against me now.
Very comfortably,
Yeah.
because Lily's very small.
Yeah.
just plump and small and just like melts into it.
Just wraps his long arms around you. Yeah, no. Looking at the mayor, and I'm just like, thank you, sir. I think this is
That's okay. And Lily, I completely understand if you don't want to, but if you wanted to come back with us and say final goodbyes as we prepare everything, then please, I will be going personally because I knew a lot of the people in the town, and I want to make sure that they are all given the correct respects. If you would like to come with us and say your final goodbyes, then I will be with you every step of the way.
Thank you, but I've done that. I've done that already.
Okay, right.
As long as there were other dragon kin in my town, if their kin know, then yeah.
I'm sure that can be arranged.
Mm-hmm.
I can send notes out confirming. I can send letters out confirming to their families. We will need to go to your father's house if that's okay. He should have an inventory list there of all of the people who lived in the town. We'll need to grab that so that we can make sure that we can contact the correct people.
That's fine. But be careful when you join the stairs are slightly broken, so it's a little difficult trying to climb up. But it's not impossible.
No, that's fine. We can do that. Abraham, I will begin preparations. It will probably take maybe 2 or 3 days for us to get all of the supplies together needed in order to perform such a task. So leave it with me, and I'll get that sorted, and we will travel up together. I will speak to the Church of Balance so we can have a priest come with us, and I'll take a few of the dock hands as well so that they can help with moving the remains and things.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that's... Yeah. The town's not in the best state, but I said to Lily here that in my experience, I think that it might be renewable. There might be the possibility of bringing the town back if that's...
It might take some time.
Of course, but...
And it depends on if anybody wants to live there, knowing that it was attacked by the Imperium. Not knowing why it was attacked by the Imperium might put some people off wanting to live there. True.
But they haven't, from what I saw, they haven't been back. Maybe
they found what they were looking for.
That's the hope. Maybe there's something in the mountains.
I don't know.
We don't know. Anyway, it's sort of like being aware that he doesn't want to make Lily sad by but no, yes, couple of days. I'll happily take you down.
While they're speaking, is there anything I can roll to try and at least get my head around there after something? Like, what do I know? Can I think of anything? Any slight idea?
Roll me a history check, please.
Ooh, that's a natural 20.
Oh my god.
Give the plot, Josh.
Okay, I shall give the plot. Right. So, during the last marsh meet, after dinner was had, both the mayor of West Hook, Mr. Adar, and your father proceeded to have their meeting. Now, because your house was very similar to how Bram's little apartment is, it was not 2-story or anything like that. It was just the large living area with dining room, chairs and things, kitchen, and then 2 bedrooms. One was your father's, and then the other one was yours and your brother's. Obviously, your brother didn't live there that often, so when he did come back, he'd sleep on the sofa when you both got old enough to not be able to share. And once food had been had and stuff, your father said, "Okay, Lilith, please go to bed, and we need to have our meeting," and all of that sort of stuff. So, you went to bed, or at least your father thought you went to bed. You decided to listen to as much of the conversation as you could at the door. and because you rolled a natural 20, you know the entire conversation of that meeting that was had. As I said before, they spoke about making new trails to make shortcuts to get through the swamps and things, and where to what directions those paths could take, what directions they needed to avoid, because there are ruins of other places in the swamps, ruins that all three of the mayors know about, but nobody has ever explored because they are ancient ruins. Like, nobody knows of anybody who lived in these places. They're very, very old. And there is at one point where it is Mr. Adara asks your father, is the Dragon Heart still safe? And your father says, yes, it is still safe. It is up in the ruins in the mountain. The pathway has been blocked to it so that nobody can get to it. But that is where it will stay. And all of them are like, okay, that's good. We need to make sure that the Dragon Heart stays safe.
All right, so just sitting there like... And then...
And with the natural 20, you remember in one of the very many books that you brought with you, there is a section on something called the Dragon Heart.
Ooh, he's not going to get it now.
But you can't remember exactly what it said, because it's like one of those things where you're like, oh, Dragon Heart. Okay, and then carry on reading about other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's what you remember at the minute.
He's just like not really paying attention when they're talking, just like...
I think being the mayor starts just sort of talking about other, because Bram's kind of made himself like a handyman around the town, and I'm sure the mayor's had like a day of people coming in and complaining about that, and me being like, oh, that's well, you know how she is. If there's any chance for her to have a complaint about something, then she's definitely going to. But yes. No, she's got point.
Yes, though unfortunately, part of her flooring broke, and she dropped one of her spoons through the hole, and it ended up in the swamp below.
Oh well, I'm sure that's like a vintage spoon, passed down from generation. But suppose it's like, I mean, I could have a look at the flooring if you want.
If you wouldn't mind, that'd be fantastic.
No, hey, whatever kind of makes your job easier, sir, to be honest.
Okay. And I'd say that you have a little bit of chitter-chatter throughout the entire sort of evening. Lily sort of swaying to and fro like, I'm not paying attention because I've just thought of something in your head sort of thing.
ADHD bounce.
Because Lily's sort of like pressed against my side, so I'm aware that she's bouncing, so I think I kind of like politely start, like, we've eaten the lasagna. I sort of get up and go, do you want coffee, sir? Before?
No. I'm fine. If I have coffee this late at night, I'll be up all night. I'm going to. It was. Thank you for a lovely evening. The additional parts that you added to the food was fantastic as always, Abraham. Lily, it was good to get to speak to you and to get your blessing, and it's good to know that you're okay. I will look sort of at both of you as he says this. I will begin making arrangements for the travel back to Volgara to perform the correct rites. But I will take my leave now and leave you to your evening. I'll speak to you in a few days.
Good night, Mayor Barber.
Good night, Lily. And he takes a bow to both of you as he walks out of the door, and he shuts it, and you can see he walks past the little window that you have and disappears off towards where his home is.
100% waiting until he goes.
Yeah. I very sort of like pull the sort of slightly ramshackle curtains across the window, put the bolt down on the door.
And each of these little huts would have little shutters that you could shut and lock, and then pull the curtain across.
Yeah.
The other one. Do the other one.
Look, turns around,
rushes to her book.
as you said, ADHD just like, right, okay. I'll look at the book. Right, okay.
Lily has ADHD confirmed.
Well,
okay. So when they were having one of their meetings, it was really boring, and they sent me off to bed. happens. But then I didn't actually go to bed. I listened.
Sneaky.
Thank you. They mentioned the dragon heart being safe in the mountains. And it's in my book.
Right. So he probably might have an idea what the Imperium is.
Exactly. Why didn't he say it?
Because he didn't think you knew.
He didn't want me to know.
Huh.
But it's in the book. It's in my book. It's in
Yeah.
my book. I've got a really good... My book is my book, okay?
Yeah.
Fine. Try looking for it in my book.
Yeah. You go through from cover to cover and you're like, I could have sworn it was in this book. So you have to go back through it again and you're like, and eventually you find it. You're like, okay, no, it's right here. It's not quite in the center of the middle page of the book, but it's pretty close to it. And it's not a very big section on it. It's just like one of those little subsections that just says the Dragon Heart. The text reads that Dragonheart is an ancient dragonkin artifact that is said to bestow the power of creation of land, and it's used with 2 other artifacts which aren't listed in order to allow more land mass to be created, although it comes at a severe cost, although the cost is not stated.
And it's not stated why.
What?
So this book of yours was written by Dragonkin, right?
Yeah.
Like a book.
It's very old. Yeah. My dad my dad got it, and I've written lots of notes in it, so a lot of people can't really understand it. But yeah.
So written for Dragonkin. Other artifacts we don't know used for land mass creation. Terrible cost. Well, from my experience and like the stories that my dad would tell me, usually when it's a terrible cost, it's life. It's
Well, dead walking could be a terrible cost.
That wouldn't. I don't think you're wrong, really. You know, I mean, we're jumping to.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
Dragonheart.
Dragonheart and didn't mention it.
Didn't want to worry you. Didn't want to.
Or Mara blah 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 is no. He's maybe he wants to find it. Maybe he found it. Maybe I don't know. But there are pieces to something.
You've never been to this temple. You don't know.
No. Mm-mm. But obviously your dad knew about it.
Well, your dad was protecting it, and your dad left. You know, maybe the Imperium. Josh, above table, like Tom knows what a major concern of the Imperium is. Has that information got out about why the Imperium is doing what it's doing?
Imperium haven't started doing what they're doing yet at this time in the timeline.
Yeah.
So if you were to look at the map now, where Halbeck is the same color as the Imperium, it's still all white. It's still controlled by they haven't started invading yet.
Right. So the fact that the Imperium invaded is a surprise and is confusing. Okay, so I think we didn't get to see like Bram's reaction when he was, before Lilly saw him, was genuinely surprised to see Imperium arm her, and was like, I don't know what's happening here. But so the Imperium are not a problem at the moment, aren't they?
But there have been small sort of skirmishes with Imperium that have travelled over, but there's never been like a full scale invasion.
Right. Okay. Because hey, like above table, Josh, nice what you're laying out here. Where I'm like, cool, this is why they need these artifacts. But I think so. Yeah, Bram is sort of like sitting beside Lilly, and it's like, yeah, I mean, powerful artifacts, you know, ancient temples and everything.
And one specifically Dragonkin.
I wonder what the others are. If these are old artifacts. Did you do much traveling before when you were little?
No. Not at all.
I did with my family. Giants, old ancient civilization, and there's I haven't seen much of it, but there's like old technology, like old power, like magical stuff. If it's from this period, like, I mean, obviously, like the things with the Guardians and the splitting and this is, if the Imperium wanted these artifacts for whatever reason, sort of.
Well, they obviously thought something about my village would get them there or lead them in the direction, but why wouldn't they attack this village or the other village to get to?
I hope that they found what they wanted. I don't want them to have it, obviously, but, if it stopped them invading, maybe they did. Maybe they found this temple. Maybe they... Very odd. Maybe... I think we've got to be careful. And
Yes.
I think we don't let... I think the mayor's a good man, but I think the fewer people who know about points of the book, the better. So
It's too many questions. That's why I didn't want to say it in front of him.
Right. For podcast listeners, both Bram and Lily are like doing the are doing the let's solve a mystery finger point. As both of these inquisitive souls sort of like, right, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a hornet's nest we necessarily want to kick, because we don't know who's listening.
We don't know enough.
No.
To kick any bugs. Do you kick bugs? Don't kick bugs.
I don't
kick
bugs.
a bug.
Why would I kick a bug?
You just said you can go kick a bug.
I said I'd kick a hornet's nest, and you don't do that.
Kick a hornet's nest.
Because the hornets come for you and they give you horrible stings.
Well, if you're kicking them.
I mean, honeybees. We were able to get the honey from the bees.
You should thank them. It's very delicious.
He sort of like sincerely nods and goes, "Oh no, I do. That's what my dad told me. You're very grateful. Like how you show gratitude, like when you're eating a creature's meat. They're giving their lives for your life, and you show your
respectful. As your dad, something really nice.
He was a good man. As to be honest, your dad seemed like a good man himself.
He was very bossy man, but very good man at heart. Like people be scared of him, like, oh, big man, but very, the boss man, but he's a lovely man.
Kind of quietly smiles. My ma was big, boss, and tough, but
nice.
Yeah, no, she, I don't think I fully knew about your brother. I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he was gonna, take the position after my dad, because he was big and brave and do the blah blah blah. I fight the things and I'm the hero. Blah. No.
Well, that's not always what it's good, but I mean, I've never had. Kind of like weirdly, as he starts saying it, like his eyes get and he comes out. No, siblings, not for me. But
No, you don't have siblings. You just have kissy pen pals.
Would you like a hot chocolate?
Yes.
Yes.
And at that point,
on that button,
as you both have yourselves a lovely hot chocolate and are able to get a long rest, we are going to take our break. Come back in about 5 to 10 minutes. It's going to be 10 minutes.
Yes.
And where we find out what our characters are going to get up to after that. We will see you soon. Goodbye. Welcome back, everybody. We have had our short rest, we have hydrated, and we are going to dive back into the next half of this Origin Part 2 episode thingy-be-bob. In the first half, Bram and Lilly met with the mayor of Erethinis. Discussions were had. A lot of lore things were discovered about certain things that are happening at the moment. And Bram had asked if they could go and give the proper respects to the bodies that are in the now ruined town of Volgara. The mayor wanted to make sure that he got permission from Lilly, being technically the second in line or the only surviving person that's around now, to give their blessing. And that was given. So in a few days' time, you can travel up to Volgara to begin preparing bodies for the correct funeral rites. Lilly, at the time, sort of said no to going back, but there's going to be a couple of days go by, and I think we'll say in total 5 days go past. You go to speak to the mayor a couple of times to see how progress is going on. I'm still trying to get a team together. We've got supplies coming in. We've got supplies coming in tomorrow, which we'll need to take up with us, like additional blankets and things that we can use to put under the bodies and move them around gently and all of that sort of stuff. And we need extra tinder boxes and wood, non-swamp wood that we can use to burn things and all of that sort of stuff. We've also we've also requested a larger barge, one of the rock movers, to come in so that we can move the rocks to the cave. From descriptions that Lilly said that her brother was in the cave, so I believe there are probably other bodies in there as well, so we want to make sure that we get everybody.
Sure. No, it's a big job, but I think I think she might. I think it might do her some good to see it again, so I think she might be coming with.
Okay. I think it would be nice for her to say her final goodbyes. I understand not wanting to see all of the bodies where they currently are. So if we can get everything prepared, and then she could be part of the funeral.
I think also she wouldn't mind having a chance to look at her father's papers, get everything sorted. For as we sort of flash back, as we are sort of sitting there looking over and like animatedly like go, okay, so this and that, and then like the red string board is out. And, like,
so we have to check. My dad had loads of secrets written down in his manuals. So we should go and find the manuals and
secret safe and
they're definitely a secret safe. At least two, maybe we could. I will look for them. We'll go through them.
As we flash back, I think there's some things that she probably wants to look at first. Yeah. Okay.
I've got a team of 5 coming with us, so they will help us with making sure everything gets done quickly. Okay.
Good.
Right. I will see you in the morning.
See you in the morning, bright and early.
See you in the morning. Now, during this 5 day, this would be like the day before you go. Was there anything that either of you would like to do leading up to it, or is it just usual going out to work, staying at home, just general living? Is there anything special you want to do?
Has Lilly gone to the bathhouse yet?
Yes, she would have snuck there like really, really late at night.
Sure. I think I'm aware, because Bram is a very light sleeper, of her going, but also going, something she needs to do,
For Lilly, it is a very disconcerting thing when you first walk into the bathhouse, because initially you get that very real sense that this is almost identical to the one back in Volgara, although Erethinis is a larger town, so the bathhouse is slightly larger, but that initial walking in, it's like, hang on a minute, this is exactly like, and then you realise it's bigger. So it's very, but you're able to have a wash and everything in private. Late at night, nobody else is really there, other than an old lady that's in one of the other baths.
There's always an old lady.
There's always an old lady in one, just sort of bobbing in the bath.
We bob together.
Sort of bob together in 2 different baths, and she's like that, and then you can make your way back. But it's nice and warm and steamy, and you feel nice and refreshed.
Nice.
And your clothes even get cleaned as well, because it's like one of those multi-purpose bathhouses. These bathhouses count as a place for you to go wash. It's a place for you to go get fresh water for your homes, and you can also wash your clothes here as well, because all hot water is all done here. You can't get hot water in your homes.
Are there also special oils for horn and scale maintenance?
Not much, because there aren't any Dragonkin residents in Erethinis, so it's not something that they usually stock a lot of. But because that's a very unique thing to Dragonkin, but they do have a very small supply of it for when visitors and guests and all of that sort of come in, and just in case they haven't got any of their own, they can buy some stuff here. So yes, you can use some of that.
Very specific. Yep.
Did you convey that you want oils and stuff for your horns? Have you talked
Like Lily will only used it before in the bathhouse because that was part of the routine. And you have to look after your scales to keep them shiny.
Again,
especially when they're gemmy.
Bram has begun sort of trying to gather stuff, and so if you had asked, he would see if he can get on the shipment to get you things and to trade.
I think she'd ask about it. Should be like showing them off, like shiny, like
those are healthy. Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Very, very nice. Yeah.
Yes, you can order some on the shipment, and some will turn up. Probably by the time you've gotten back.
I also finally get round to some ordering her some clothes, because the problem is both of the orcs in this house are big, tall creatures, and you are not.
Oh, Lily small. She's plump but small.
Lily's small, round Lily small.
Little dumpling.
Yeah, I think sort of having tried to sort of, again, like, deal with washing the clothes, and like you've been in his Bram's shirts for a while, finally being able to go, right, we're getting other things.
But while she's wearing the shirt, she's also doing the impressions like, all right, I'm gonna you get that?
Wow. Also, what animals does Lily like?
She likes frogs.
Does she like octotoads?
She doesn't mind them. She likes froggies, and she likes fireflies, and she can all actually. It's one of her feats that I have, is that she mimics them. She will mimic the froggies to talk to froggies.
Again, sort of like, this might not be completely finished by the time we head off, but Bram has started making you one of those, like, you know, the musical instruments that look like the frogs, and they go. He's been working. That's what his like woodwork project has been, to make like a musical frog for you.
Cool.
Let's see if it gets finished, folks.
I mean, you got about a year before you leave her, so.
Well, it's gonna. Oh, who says I'm going to leave? I could stay.
Never going to leave me. How dare you?
Yeah, your origin story's already gone out. We know what you do.
How dare?
Leaves me.
Yeah. I think so. If we're looking at like a progress of time, Bram has started working on that, and hopefully it will be finished by the time other people come looking for him. But yes, so that's the thing, that he, like with the food, Bram asks you quite bluntly, "What do you like? Please do tell me. I can, so."
ADHD brain gets really excited and explains it all.
Bram listens.
This, and
He, like I said in the last episode, where you're like, cool, people like him, but he doesn't have visitors. He doesn't have, sort of. He's not going to the bar, and people aren't coming looking for him to be like, hey, why did you come to the bar? He seems to be quite, quite.
People respect your privacy.
Yeah.
Is he a homebody?
No. Again, sort of like, what is your insight?
Not passive insight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My passive insight is a 9.
I mean, I'll give it to you because you've spent a lot of time with him. He seems sort of like, he's not a homebody. He's sort of like, he doesn't seem comfortable being indoors so much. He's sort of like, and I think because, he talks about it, and he's spent a lot of time. This seems like the first time he's ever been in a place for a really long time, that he's been traveling with his parents, especially with his mother. Says that his mother kind of left him here, and he's getting the itch again. And I think having these sort of late night conversations where, sort of you're in your your fortress of blankets and pillows. He's also found some more pillows from somewhere.
Howdy. Doesn't question it, just expects it.
And he's sitting quietly, like working on the lute, you know, sort of like play. And he starts sort of like saying, you know, having said, "Have you been to places?" No, you haven't. Starts talking about other places, and you kind of feel, you know, sort of like he's twitching. He wants to go. He just, you know.
When he's talking about places, specific places, what they're like, she will write it down. She's writing it down. She's like, "Oh my, the architecture." Okay, we'll write it all down.
And he's sincerely like, I know we've been sort of talking about ADHD focus, but Bram has a really good memory for like locations, places, stories, and the food. And so your book is getting more and more filled. And like looking at the map, which hey, let's bring up the map. You know, as Bram's like, right, I've been here. This is what this is like. There's giant ruins.
I've been here. Not here, the Imperium.
No. It's sort of like there's a grumpy face over the
I think
Imperium.
the only place that you've not been is the desert area in Abercathis, primarily.
Yeah, makes sense. But he's heard stories, and you know, sort of tells you. And I think it's quite interesting because your book is obviously ancient, and he's like, "Well, no, that's not a thing anymore. That kingdom to the north's not there anymore. You know, the door." But also at the same time, as we've been talking, where he's been like, "Cool, where would other artifacts be?" These are these ancient kingdoms of this period, and then I mean, jumping ahead, sort of like where he points to like an East Coast town, and he's like, "Well, there's mountains here, and I think there might be a temple here." Points.
Yeah, we just say, well, of course that makes sense because there's no real road. That just the mountains. There would be a perfect place to hide. Blah blah blah. Getting proper into it.
I can't read on the map, but you know, yes. So I think when you were like, "What are we doing in our downtime?" It's been like a lot of like prepping, but also making. It's weird. Like Lilly's getting the feeling he wants to go, but also weirdly he's like starting to settle. Now you're here. Like everything else he's had is stuff that I think I said like he could just leave, apart from like his music and his like. But things are like spreading out now. You know, he's taking things out of the rucksack and putting it out. So yeah. But also, he's like, "Hey, you know, when we're talking about a place, various places, are you expressing interest in wanting to go see things?"
Sort of. It's a curiosity of what it is, just in case she goes there. But it's not. There's also like, really far though. I go, "Oh God, I really have my feet."
You get the feeling that he hasn't asked you, but if you said, "I want to go," he would go with you. And
if he brings up anything like, this part is really cool, and you'd be like, "Oh, that sounds really interesting. Actually, it'd be quite fun to go and write it down." And
I think connected to that, we talk about the desert, and I think the thing that gets you is he's like, "Well, of course, the Great Library's there, you know, with the, you know," he's just looking, he's like,
library?
Like, the repository of, like, the world's knowledge is all...
How big?
I don't think anyone's ever actually... I mean, the Queen's the only one who knows what's there, and she's... the Queen of there, she's a Sphinx, you know, so she...
Like, anime face, like massive,
you know, sort of like, and again, we're sort of like in the slights of dark as he's quietly, and he's sort of like, again, not quite looking at you. He's like, "Well, we could go there if you wanted."
To see Goddess Sphinx and the books. Yes, please.
Again, sort of like the way Tom's posed now, where it's sort of like you can't see his face, but he sort of nods quietly. "Yeah, we can do that." Yeah. She hasn't got the insight, folks. he doesn't think his mum's coming back. He's going, you know. Anyway, talking
No
about
insight. No insight.
no insight whatsoever. Sad Bram, who has no one apart from this little dragon. Anyway, should we go bother your dad's stuff?
Yes. So after the 5 days, the two of you plus the mayor and 5 workers on 3 separate barges plus the large rock mover barge are taking a travel back up to Volgara. It's a slower journey than the way down because the rock, you have one barge in front, then you have the rock mover, and then you have the other 2 barges behind, just to sort of keep that in the middle, so to try and move anything that might potentially block its path. So it takes you a lot longer to get up there because you have to travel slower with that thing. So it takes you a day to get there rather than 4 hours. But you eventually get up there, and the people that are with you are shocked to see what they see there. But the shock very quickly goes and they begin getting to work. 2 of them get onto the rock mover barge and sail that up towards where the cave-in is, and they get ready to start preparing that. The mayor and the other 3 get onto the main dock area and they begin getting the blankets and things out that they need to put under the bodies to begin picking them up and moving them. The plan, as the mayor has explained to you on the way up, is that the area where the boats would have been, where the rafts would have been kept before, where they would have been pulled up onto the dock, where you put yours when you met Lilly for the first time, that's where all of the bodies are going to be placed. And then they're going to do a pyre of fire for the Imperials and burn their bodies separately to the people of the town. The plan is to, if Lily's okay with it, would be to burn the bodies because there's nowhere to bury them. Now, Lilly, what would you be doing while all this? Would you? I don't think you'd be. I think we sort of said this during break that you wouldn't be helping. Would you? What would you be doing?
Well, she's helping, but she's not moving the bodies.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. She's not helping moving the bodies, but she's doing other things like getting the paperwork, sort of thing. Maybe.
I think Bram also been like, "Can you tell me whose houses these were, so we can?"
Yeah, she'll point out people's houses and people's names if that was difficult to see or find out. And if there's any people she knows have any, if she knows if people are particularly religious, she'll be like, they are. So do this, keep involved this. Them, they're not so much, so don't worry about them. But mostly she's not trying not to take too much, look at the bodies too much.
Yeah.
She's just like, yeah, because she knows where they are. She saw them before. She knows.
Yeah.
She knows they're in her mind now forever. So she's there. She's trying to look as, like, in charge as she can. Like, yep, I know what I'm doing. I'm super. Yep, this is my village. But it's also like.
I think Bram also runs not protection for her, but being like having like talk to like the dock hands and be like, cool, don't bother her. If you need something, talk to the mayor, talk to me. We'll talk to she's obviously grieving. You will get that, but also sort of like that thing of like on the other level, I want her to get into her father's things and find it, and I don't want her to be bothered. So Bram making himself useful, but also being there, being never quite like leaving Lily's sight, just being enough to kind of, because we're running our own little scam here. Bram, the scam is back.
Go over there, but looking at my house, like, yeah.
In terms of like the more religious people of the town, there wasn't a Church of Balance here, so there was no priests or anything that lived here. But you know that you'll let Bram know Lilly, that both Brock and Fen, who were the two ruby-scaled dragonkin that acted as protectors of the village, that worked basically directly underneath your father, they were both devout followers of Peltos, the Guardian of Fire. So you would know that they would definitely want to be sort of burnt, because that's sort of like ashes of the phoenix rise again sort of belief thing.
If you say that, Bram also, and I think there's also been a symbol of Peltos in Bram's house, and he says that his father was a paladin of Peltos. Also lets you know that his father was a wild elf, and then just went, I don't know how much you know, but complicated relationship with the church. I'll put it that way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Also like,
Keep calling it Pelotos. It's Peltos, not Pelotos. It's Peltos.
Peloton.
Keep saying Pelotos.
Like the bike.
I'm not changing another name.
Pelicans.
Pelicans.
I mean, they are a giant phoenix. It's like, I'm a pelican phoenix. Carry you my giant beak. I don't know why they're West Country, but yeah.
She's
Bram.
very like, they're Peltos.
Right. No.
Good, really good friends. Please treat them. Also, is there a way for the scales to be treated?
Yeah, we can.
No, this is like DM question.
Oh, you're asking me? Sorry, I thought you were asking
yes,
Bram.
beg pardon.
Here's some lore for you. In Dragonkin traditions, if there is a body, then family members will remove the scales, because when the body does its thing and it becomes a skeleton, the scales, as you said before, the scales remain. But before that happens and they're preparing them for their funeral rites, some of the scales are removed. Not all of the scales, but some of the scales are removed, and those scales are made into pieces of jewelry for the family to wear as mementos to keep their memories alive, as it were. So you can do that. You can remove you would know specifically how to do that. That's something that your father would have taught you, just because obviously he was preparing you for if he ever passed away, sort of thing, or when he passed away. So you would know the correct rites in order to do that. Funnily enough, the oil that you use to do your horns is needed in that process. So you would have bought one of the little remaining bits up with you in order to do that. So if you wanted to, and obviously with the fact that your brother is also there, if you wanted to teach Bram how to do it so he could do your brother so you didn't have to.
Bram or priest?
Or the priest, yeah. So either of those can do it. In fact, the priest could also do it as well if you wanted to show him, so he could remove the scales.
Yeah, priest.
Yeah.
I will show the priest, so the burden isn't on Bram.
Yeah, so the priest watches you do this with Brock and Fen first, and watches how you prepare the scales and everything. And your explanation to him would be the scales will now be sent to their loved ones so that they can do what they want with them, to remember them in their own ways. And then he will go to do that with your brother. However, your brother was still partially submerged in the swamp. His weapon his sword that is now on your waist was on the deck, so that's how on the walkway, so that you were able to pick that up. So it will take a few people to get some harnesses down to pull him out. Brief description, not going to go into detail with it, but because he had fallen into the swamp, his body is not a full skeleton, so there are still parts of him you can tell, but that will make the priest's job easier to remove the scales.
I go with, because I feel I understand the priest is doing it, but Bram feels as a representative of Lilly, he's going to witness this and to get the scales from the priest to be the one who gives it to her, and also weirdly kind of like to show him the respect, and then kind of like to be a little bit like, cool, I'm taking care of her now,
While this treatment is being performed on your brother, Mayor Adara is adamant that he wants to help with the paying of respects to your brother, so he is one of the ones that is helping to move the body out. This with your little scam that you have going on, this would be the perfect opportunity for you to go search your house to see if you can find any hidden notes on this dragon heart.
Yep. Goes there. Like, yep. And just takes a moment. Just okay. And then goes to the house.
So you managed to make your way up to the house. I will say for ease of purpose, just so we're not having to roll an acrobatics check every time, that one of the first things that the people would have done would have been to stabilize the stairwell so they can get up and down. The plan is if they need to stay here for longer than a day, which is a possibility with the removing of the rocks from the cave entrance, that they'll use the houses on the upper level to stay there. Obviously, you and Bran would stay in your house, and then everybody else would sort of populate the other houses.
Lily also says out loud, "No one's allowed in my house other than me and Bram."
That's fine.
My house.
That's completely understandable.
That's my house.
We'll stay in other houses.
My house.
We know.
It stays there. Nobody moves in. Nobody fiddles.
But we won't.
Good.
I also go. So that obviously that's the bathhouse. I think there's like I'm saying to the priest as well. It's like if you need more of the oils, I think there'll be more. There's stock there.
The priest is female.
Is it a dwarf, Josh?
It's not a dwarf, no. She's female, probably elf. She's got one of the tabard things over her head, so you can't really tell. But she's got quite angular features. But she is a female elf, and she is a dark priest. There we go. She's a dark priestess, so she's priestess of death. So perfect for this situation. And she will perform all of the rites that are needed. And she'll go check the bathhouse to see if there are any other oils, because there were dragonkin that lived in this place. There is an abundance of them. So she will take what she needs in order to do the funeral rites. Lily, you can take the rest in order to keep your horns nice and fresh.
I will.
Scales and everything.
We filled up a tote bag. Like we ordered other oils.
It jingles.
But yeah.
It jingles. And Lily, could you please roll me an investigation check to see if you can find anything in your father's house while this is going on down below?
I'm just going to see if I can help myself out with anything. Do I have anything to help myself?
Guidance?
I don't have guidance. Oh, gosh. Oh, I am going to. Okay. I'm so going to make sense. I have mending, though. Can it give me advantage if I am mending certain drawers or anything, just so it shifts in? So if it's rot or if there's any kind of splintered effect or anything, can I try and have mending on? Just there's any kind of switch or door or.
Yeah, go ahead. Why not? Because we don't want you to find it. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Let's go. Oh, okay. Definitely need it. That was a 1. To a natural 20.
Yay!
Wow. Right. So it doesn't take you that long. You know where your father kept all of his papers. It was in the main living area. Actually, no, it was in his bedroom. So you go into his bedroom. This is the room that had been damaged by the large boulder that had gone through the roof. Part of the floor is gone, and you can see down into the swamp area. Luckily, the drawers where he keeps his papers are on the other side of the room near the door. So you're able to go there, and you have a look through. You find the papers that the mayor was talking about, the ones where they discuss the various different plans that they have around and all of that sort of stuff. The papers that the mayor is going to want to grab, and the inventory of or the dossier, Rolodex type thing of everybody who lived in the town. You find that paperwork nice and easy, and you have a little rummage around, and you can't find anything else and you start sort of scanning your hands around, and then you find a button that is just on the lip of the door, and you click that, and part of the door, part of the back of it opens outwards, goes downwards, and you can see there's another little compartment with a very small diary there.
Thanks, Pop.
You can grab that and take that out. It's small. It's very, very tiny. So you open it out and it's only got like a little bit of writing in it, but it's a lot of it is in your father's. All of it is in your father's handwriting. Some of it is not actually in common. A lot of it is in Draconic, which you can speak. So
My tiniest pen. What the fit?
You get like your reading glasses out.
Oh my! Oh.
So yes, you find that, and then we come back down to Bram as Lily's brother's body is pulled out and the funeral rites are prepared. His body is placed with. You manage to get a couple of his larger scales off of his face and get those off, and his body is placed with the other town members' bodies, and the rocks begin to get pulled away from the cave in. They start at the top and begin pulling them away, and as you're standing quite close to it, the two people that are working on it down below go, you all might want to move away just in case things begin to collapse. And the mayor turns around and goes, yes, thank you, Frank, we'll move away, right? Bram, come on, let's go. Jeverick, we need to move as well. Yes, let's go. And they all begin to sort of move.
Yep.
Out of the way just in case. They begin moving some of the rocks, and for you, Bram, you can see first time like looking at the top of the wreckage, there looks to be some sort of a strange indentation / crack right on the top, which is the thing that caused the cave in, as if something large smashed into it, and which caused everything to collapse down onto it. And it's in a strange shape, as if it's not. It looks like it was a natural thing that smashed into it, not like a boulder, like a or a cannonball or something. But it was something very large.
I'm just also putting together like, okay, so Lily went in to the cave, brother was outside, so like putting together the.
There are a couple of dead Imperium soldiers that were on the gangplank, sort of around where the body had fallen down into. So he'd probably been fighting as the collapse happened.
We kind of go, like, as we're looking at Bram, like, quietly smoking the pipe, we're going into, like, the Sherlock, kind of like things floating around. And you're like, okay, noted, crack. So, like, I'm not getting too close, but can I see, like, because this is straight into the swamp, right, where the cave in it is. So did something like, if it hit, did it go into the swamp at the bottom, or was it?
The cave entrance itself is part gangplank, part the river that goes under, but the sort of swampish water goes underneath the gangplank as well and goes into it, and it's like a natural stop. This is a natural cave, it's not a dugout one.
Just before, because I don't want to get too close, obviously, because they're pulling it. Like, as Bram's leaving, and he kind of looks over to see if he could see what might have hit, and then, because if it hit, it would have fallen down into...
You can't see anything, but you can roll a perception check to maybe glean some more detail as rocks are being moved.
I mean, he's been, again, sort of Bram's being professional but quiet, sort of like if anyone's like, oh, he's sad, he's like, nope, he's taking things in. It's a 9.
Yeah. You can't really tell if there's. I mean, obviously you can see the large indentation. That indentation is larger than any like trebuchet boulder or cannonball or anything that you've ever seen. It's got a weird shape to it that you can't quite make out. Maybe it was a creature. You're not sure.
Again, putting that away for later and being like, okay, so my conclusion, some large creature caused this cave in, either intentionally or accidentally, as it hit the cave wall, the outside.
Yeah.
Again, like we're in this Sherlock thing, and then just quietly, dragon. It goes across his head. He's like, interesting.
Might need to talk to Lily about it. Lily might have seen something.
This is all he's gathering. We're both going to share our information, hopefully, but sort of like putting it together and being like, because I know Lily didn't see this because she was inside the cave when it happened, and then did her brothers stay behind to like fight off the Imperium?
Yeah, basically, he told her to get. I think from memory, he told you to get into the cave to get to the ship, as he held some off. Yeah, I believe that's what happened. And it was a long time that we recorded that, just so the audience knows.
And then the cave-in occurred. So
and then the cave-in occurred. Yeah.
right, okay, so he didn't turn into a dragon, or did he?
I will say, cause of death for everybody that you've come across is very hard to determine because they're skeletons.
Wow.
For Lily's brother, it's very clear that he wasn't crushed to death.
Again, I don't want to go into too much details because it's upset. Imperium, what kind of weapons do they use?
They use a mixture of crossbows and at this stage in the timeline they use a lot more crossbows and short swords and shields.
Did he have
But
bolts in his?
He had a lot of stab marks on him, and when I say shields, I mean more like buckler types. Looks like they were prepared to come through a swampy terrain.
Right. Again, yes, sort of having taken us in where Bram's like, okay, it's not information that I'm gonna. It's good to know, and I know Lily has seen her brother, but also just being able to. I think the important thing is he's going, yeah, we did him the due diligence and the respect, and whatever happened with that cave, that's a Lily question, but yeah.
Awesome. Right, you can finish up what you're doing. It's going to take probably another day to get the rest of the rocks removed, but they've started the process. So as nighttime hits, Bram, you can join Lily in her home, and at some point in the night you'll get a knock on the door, and Mayor Adara is at the door. He's like, I just wanted to check in to make sure you're both okay and that you didn't need any more firewood or anything.
No.
No, thank you.
Okay.
The head behind Bram again has been like sitting in the chair, pretty much a replicant of last time we were here. Doesn't seem to have been sleeping. No, thank you, sir. We seem to have been. Yeah. How are you? I'm sure today wasn't easy.
It definitely wasn't easy. It was just, but we've made progress, and we can prepare. Once we've cleared the rest of the cave, we can prepare the rest of the bodies for their funeral rites. Lily, I was wondering if you had happened to come across your father's papers on who lived in the town and inventory and all of that sort of stuff.
Oh, the people lived. Did I get the people who were in the town?
Yep. You've got the list of all of the people who lived here.
Yeah. I've got your list. I found that. Yep.
Fantastic. Would it be okay to take that?
Sure.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you very much. And he'll sort of hold his hand out for
She
it.
made a copy of it.
Yeah.
That's fine. You've had plenty of time to do that, so he'll take that. It's like, brilliant, thank you. I can, once we get back to everything, I can begin the process of contacting the families, and for the families of the other dragonkin, I can once I've made contact with them, I can send their scales to them.
Yes, please.
I will not trouble you anymore. I'm going to head over to the area that I've been designated, and I will see you both in the morning.
Right.
Go away from my house. Thank you, bye.
Okay.
I kind of give him like a sort of polite smile and the slightest like eye roll, being like, what you gonna do? But then like that kind of falls away as I shut the door, and they're sort of like giving Lily a sort of a look of like, we're okay, I think, you know.
It's fine. Just, I'm gonna make sure you're not listening.
You can sort of see through some of the cracks in the door and things from where damage and rot is sort of setting. You watch as he goes into a house right on the other end of this sort of little courtyard that you're in, and he's
Good. This is what she's saying. She's been a bit cryptic. Good.
I still maintain he might be on the up and up, but
Mary Brar is very nice, and his food is his wife's food is very delicious. But I still
podcast listeners, the suspicion fingers have come up. We're just no, I mean, From what I know, there were 3 people who knew about gestures sort of like towards the mountains. Yordar, him, and the mayor.
Never trust a mayor. No, that doesn't make sense. If we meet the other mayor.
Westbrook. I mean, Westbrook's...
West Hook.
West Hook. Yes, I look, because I'm like, oh, that's an H. West Hook. Yeah.
Yeah, don't make me change more names.
Change it. Josh, this probably is not the priority here, but what is the mayor of West Hook like?
You've never met them, so you don't know.
Do I know what West Hook's like by reputation?
You'd have been to West Hook, yes.
Yeah.
West Hook is very much another marsh town that's on stilts and stuff, but it's also a port town because it's that weird area where the marsh meets the sea, meets the sea. So it's sort of very sludgy there. It's another one of those where it's slightly more raised out of the water than what Erythinis is, a bit similar to how Vorgara is because of the tide rises up quite high, and at points it becomes more of a sea-based town because sometimes the tide completely gets rid of the marsh. It is a very small town, very small fishing town. Probably slightly bigger than what Vorgara is, and a lot of fishermen live there. In terms of the people there, they seem nice enough. You don't really stay there long enough to get to speak to them.
I run customers there if they're going for the ship, and
Yeah, because there's a very small sort of ferry that used to take people between West Hook and the Imperium or up to Helbeck. Not very rarely did they travel down to... As you know, they would have travelled down to Abercathus as well, so looking at where Abercathus's port is. So yeah, they would have travelled down to Abercathus's port as well. It's like one of those sort of ferries. In the town where I live, we have a foot ferry that goes from where we live over to another place, then to another place. Then it goes all the way along our bay to somewhere else, and then comes back. So it's sort of similar to that. It's like a single foot ferry that takes people to all of the different locations.
But that's not running so much now, but due thanks to the rising. And
it's
also
not going to the Imperium as much anymore. Yeah. It's more that it goes from Halbeck to West Hook to Abercathus and just avoids going towards the Imperium.
But thanks to drowners, there's still transport there. People can. Does their ferry still run?
Their ferry still runs. They have to have more sort of protection on the boat in case drowners do attack. The drowner presence, you would know, is lesser where the marshland is because it's harder for them to get onto that land in order to do their attacks and stuff. And for some reason, drowner presence on the western side of the continent is not as heavy as what it is on the eastern side. You would probably put that down to the fact that the Imperium's island is there. So they probably deal with a lot of the drowners that are there. So there's not so many on the west coast.
I mean, maybe the mayor of West Hook might be someone we can have a word with.
We should.
Yeah.
Interrogate.
I mean, I realise I've just been asking a lot of questions. She met the mayor of West Hook.
She's met the mayor of West Hook, yes.
What are they like, Lily?
What they like, DM.
The mayor that you met, because it's not guaranteed that it's the same person, but the mayor that you met was a woman, elven in descent, had a lot of markings on her face, sort of around her cheeks, and that went up into up across her temples into little circles. Very sort of wood elf / Dalish from Dragon Age type sort of style on her face. She was not as kind as Adara. Was very more sort of stern and strict, but it wasn't a case of that she was nasty. She was it just seemed that whatever situation she was in at that point has made her stern and strict.
Professional in that way.
But you don't know if she's the mayor of the town still.
Wow.
Well, the one I knew had really cool tattoos. You would have liked if she was the boss.
Well, that makes sense. do you... I realise this isn't late night conversation really, Lil, but what do you want to do? I mean, this is technically your town. I can start telling the others to start prepping. We'll deal with the stuff in the morning, but we can start getting the trade route. Or, and again, so like he's just quietly playing with the pipe. Or maybe we, head to West Hook and see what we can find. Maybe.
You mean after the funeral?
Hmm.
I mean, we should probably check out West Hook just in case. I don't know. For interrogation purposes, could be really important.
Yeah. We'll find out if your boss is still around.
My boss, Lady Boss. I'm telling you, you'd like her.
Well, and then after that, any ideas what you want to do?
Well, should probably find my dad. And we could find your mum.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should find our mum and dad.
Yeah.
And we can help each other do it.
Of course. Me and you till the end, yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
We should do that.
Yeah.
While finding out the mysteries of the artifact.
I
could write a book on it.
Speaking of writing a book on it, you did pull a diary out of your father's secret stash.
I did. Did you know my dad wrote with really, really tiny pens?
Like,
He was a big man, really tiny pens. Brings out the book. Really tiny diary with really tiny handwriting.
as I sort of slightly lean in, I do not think Bram can read Draconic. No, Common, Elvish, Orc was on the sheet. He just like it and it goes. I think it's enough that he goes, I can tell that's Draconic. I can't read what it says, but there's enough to just be like, huh.
Well, I can read it to you.
Sure. No, I mean if you want, I mean it's your dad's private
Answers to our questions. There's a mystery. She's too excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can read the book out to Bram. Now, it's very much a diary entry or a group of diary entries. Your father goes on to explains that he's keeping this as a private documentation of events that are happening and certain things that he knows about, and that nobody else knows that he's keeping this diary.
Mm-hmm.
So you know from that that Meridara isn't going to be looking for this thing. He goes on to explain that He goes on to explain that he was entrusted with the safekeeping of the Dragon Heart, and he needed to store it somewhere securely. When exploring the town, like the mountain ranges of Volgara, when your family first moved here, he found an ancient ruin in the mountain that was different to any other ruin that he'd been to during his days as an adventurer. This structure had strange and weird technologies inside of it that was reminiscent of the old ones, or the ones that came before, that are known throughout history. But other than, unlike the ruins that are in the swamps, this was accessible, and he was able to get in there and lock the dragon's heart inside of it. So after spending some time up there, quite a long time, either sleeping up there or traveling to and from, he realized that he could set a safety lock to the door that he would go in and out of, so that and the only way that the door itself can be opened, magic and explosions, raw strength and all of that sort of stuff will not penetrate this door, no matter what. You could blow up the whole mountain and the building would still be fine. The only way to get in there is with his blood. You need to, and he explains that he would always do a little slit on either his palm or on his thumb, and he would place that against the door, and these magical sigils would sort of flare up and unlock the door, and he could gain access to it. So yes.
Ew.
I mean, yeah, I've heard about people doing blood magic, but
His exact phrasing is "blood of mine will open the door."
again, Bram having gone. Well, I mean, just to you.
I mean,
You got magic.
if we want to go and have a look at it, we could.
I mean, it would be rude not to, really.
Right? Explain that part really good. Well.
Yeah. Okay.
One final thing.
One more thing. He details that in order to keep this place safe, he needed to hide the entranceway to the pathway. The entranceway is in that cave, and he put the trigger behind one of the torches. So pull the torch down, it opens the archway. Typical secret passageway sort of thing. He's done that.
Secret tunnel.
Secret tunnel. And the tunnel opens up to a set of stairs that will take you up to the temple.
Okay. Is Lily writing this in her book?
No.
It's already written in her father's book.
I was going to say, I think we need to keep that secret.
Right.
Yeah. Keep it maybe somewhere in your... Yeah, maybe keep the book in the book. Or, yeah, as I watch...
The tiny book, go in my... Puts it down the top.
Yeah. I think as Bram's looking, and then just watches as this girl puts it, and he's like, useful. As you maniacally cackle, and Bram's like, yeah. And again, sort of like above table, very much reminding him of Greta in that moment, who, I mean, we were younger, but would do similar things. I'm like, ha! I did it! I hit it! And he's like, yeah. Again, such similar energy. You just, again, when you vibrate at a certain frequency, you just draw people who vibrate at where he's like, right. I think we do the rites tomorrow. I guess let's... What do we... I suppose you say that you're investigating some things that... Maybe we don't mention your father. Maybe you just need to sort some things, and we stay here.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. Just have, I don't know, just stay here a little bit and just to process.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yes, you stay here. You need to sort some things.
And if they want to rehab, have other people come and live here, then test it out just in case.
What was it like living here?
I always liked it. Everyone knew each other, just like the town. I don't know the town we're in now. It's just the same, really. Everyone knew each other, and everyone grew up together, and everyone knew each other's business, and we'd all go down to the bathhouse. And there's always an old lady in the bathhouse. There's always an old lady in the bathhouse.
You've got to be very polite to her.
Well, obviously, you make friends with the old lady in the bathhouse, because she hears everything. So if you want gossip, bathhouse lady.
Bathhouse lady.
Yeah, I loved it here.
Does sound great. Yeah. I mean...
you can always live here if you want to. Whenever you want to. If you want to live here. If the other town doesn't make sense. Or if you're go travelling and then you come this way and boom, you can always stay in my house.
I think, again, because I've said, like, it's dark and it's like we're basically by candle and the slight light of the pipe where you can kind of see his face, where it's sort of like generally touched, where he's like, it's not quite his energy, but what if it is? And what if he knew that there was always going to be somewhere to stop?
If you ever want to stop, I'm not saying you will, or you just can.
I mean, on the other side of that coin, Lil, it's a big continent out there. I think there's a lot of interesting things. Maybe you can come with me.
to go see the library and the Sphinx.
Yeah. You're quite a thing.
I think that would be fun.
Yeah. Well, but first things first, good night's sleep. And then we got show our respects.
Do you need any more blankets?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Actually, because that's the thing, you took your father's blanket, but he sort of like has found the emergency.
She'll offer it.
Yeah.
She's offering it. Do you want to?
Wraps it around him. So
It's a good blanket.
It's a very good blanket.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, see you in the morning. You sleep well now.
You too. And then gets in her little pile like a mole.
You don't probably, because Lily probably falls asleep incredibly quickly, but I don't think Bram sleeps much that night. For lots of thoughts, and also he's bringing back like what I'd call his forest sense of like going, cool, you hear a slight crack, bear. So it's just that sort of thing. He sits and keeps an eye on you and keeps an eye on it is. But when light does come, he's hat over the eyes, Indiana Jones.
Lily's very used to having other people protect the place where she sleeps.
Yeah.
And so she trusts you, like, oh, she's going to sleep and you're doing the job.
I also say I did, before the mayor arrived, I did present you with the scales and, sort of...
Yeah, that's been put away.
Yeah, didn't make a thing of it, but was enough to be sort of like there. And actually, before we get on, Bram does mention the bizarre thing in the rock face. And then says dragon, and then goes no.
I mean, there was a lot going on, and including something big.
Did you see something?
I heard something,
What did it?
and
Again, camera's looking at Bram, who's like, cool, I needed like scientific answers to this, and Lily's doing a pantomime. He's like, so he's sort of like,
The thing is, though, is this conversation is happening after Lily has mulled her way into these blankets, so you just hear all these noises coming out of the blanket.
the blankets are like moving, just trying. Right, okay. So you didn't see, obviously you didn't see anything, but
heard it.
heard it. Interesting. It might have been trying to help you, whatever this thing was. Stop the Imperium getting in.
Well, the Imperium brought it with them. I don't know.
And it got
I don't know.
extra things to put in the book. Hey?
I'll write it down to my...
As you just like Bram like pats like the area where the horns are. Right, she's already asleep. Now we're back and Bram half asleep in the chair. Yeah.
That night, as you're both sleeping, Lily, you do have a dream.
Ooh.
And it is of that the night or the day when all of this happened. And you remember, or at least the dream sort of acts as a memory for you, which might not be, we know how, you remember something and it's not 100% accurate.
Mm-hmm.
You remember your brother and your father telling you to go into the cave to get to where the reserve ships were to get out.
Mm-hmm.
As you ran in and turned around, you watched as your brother and your father were fighting, and then you heard that loud roaring noise, and the entranceway to the cave sort of darkened, and you saw this large green creature sort of dive towards them. It gets a bit fuzzy at this point because it's blurring between an actual memory and what you imagined happened. But what you get is this large dragon is smashed into the entranceway to the cave, and as it collapses down, you can see your brother looking at it. Its head sort of crashes down near where he's fighting some Imperial soldiers, and they look at each other with a knowing look, and then the dragon gets up out of the marsh and then starts fighting these, sort of disappears out of view as the cave-in sort of happens. Again, that isn't actually what happened in the origin episode. It was just the shadow and the cave-in happened, but it's more that your brain is trying to work things out that you've learned from Bram and what you're seeing here and everything, and that's what you're projecting is what has happened, basically. And you're able to get a normal night's sleep. For Bram, you said that you're basically on what forest mode, you're on watch mode.
Yeah.
Slightest snap of a twig is going to wake you up. What does wake you up is a loud crash of a boulder falling, and it's just as the sun is cresting, and it wakes you up as you hear a loud crash and splash.
A crash splash.
Crash and splash.
Bram's up is by the door, like the machete's in his hand, and doors open, looking out, going, right, what? Having just sort of like quickly glanced down and just seen I assume Lilly wouldn't wake up for that. It's just like just the blankets are rising. Yeah, I go out and check. Also being aware, being like, cool, I don't want to leave her again, because I think his fear has been like, cool, if anyone was going to hurt Lilly or want to basically torture her for information, this is the time, this is the place we're near. What else is going on? What do people know? I know they haven't got to the notebook, but yeah, basically, I'm going to look at the boulder, but also being like, hey, I'm not going to go running off on a wild goose chase.
You go and have a little look. Basically, you just need to get to the top of the stairs area. The house, Lily's house, is still in view, and the whole of the town is in view of you as well. And you can see down where the rock mover is that 4 of the workers that came with you are on it and are operating it to remove the rocks. And you can see standing on the gangplank, sort of overseeing everything, is Mayor Adara, who is sort of guiding them. And one of the rocks they pulled out, and it sort of slipped out of the mechanism and has splashed into water, causing the large ship or the large barge to sort of rock in the water a little bit. And they're sort of trying to keep their footing and things as this has happened. And you can hear Adara shout, be careful, we don't want you to damage the gangplank or anything, or cause another cave-in.
I think I head down the fixed steps, so I am standing next to the mayor. How goes the work?
Good morning, Abraham. Yes, the work is going well. That was the largest boulder that we needed to move. I didn't anticipate just how heavy it was going to be. We should have the rest of these boulders removed by the end of the day. Unfortunately, that boulder has just crushed the front half of that ship, but we checked it beforehand. There were no bodies on it. So we will check the other end of that barge when we go through. Is Lily okay? I apologise if we woke you up with that.
No, I was awake anyway. No, she's a heavy sleeper. Well, to be honest, I think she needed as much sleep as she can. It's been good for her to be back, but it's also obviously quite upsetting. I think you might need to have if we have another talk. We were wondering about maybe trying to think about getting this place working again.
I mean, you're going to need a lot of people in order to get this place working again. And as I said to you before, it's going to be whether people want to live here or not. You can see as you're having this conversation, the priestess comes down, or the priest. They're all priests. Yeah. Sort of unisexual name. Yeah. They all. She comes down the steps and looking a little bit tired, also getting woken up by that, and makes her way over towards the bodies and begins sort of preparing the funeral rites and everything for it. You just see sort of her doing that in the background. She gives you a light smile, just to say morning.
Polite wave.
as she gets started with that, and the mayor just looks to you. Like, yes, well, we need to get these boulders moving. Be helpful if all of my crew are here, but hey, that's all we can do at the moment. Just work with what we've got.
Absolutely. No, we'll get things done, and I, as you said, people might not want to live here, but so the buildings are apart from the damage, relatively sound. It seems.
It seems like it. Yes, the place I stayed in last night had a couple of small-ish sort of gestures with his hands, boulders inside of them from the cave-in. But other than that, it was in pretty good condition.
I mean, there's always going to be people who want to live somewhere, and this is. It's a nice enough place. Lilly was saying growing up here, the vibes of this place were, hey, good vibes. But...
It's something we could look into doing. As I said, we need to be able to get people to come up here in order to do it. So
maybe we can start the marsh meets again. Like the mayor of West Hook. What were they like as a person? I don't think I've ever actually met the mayor. I mean, you're the only mayor I know.
I've not seen them for about 2 years now, I'd say. It's been. I mean, they're perfectly fine. They're a fisherman. One of the fishermen of the town. So they're very much focused on the preservation of West Hook and of the fishing trade and of the foot ferry that travels between the different locations. Those are their sort of main sources of income. So they're a little more. This is going to sound harsh, but they're a little more self-centered on West Hook rather than the marsh as a whole. Their predecessor was a lot more focused on the marsh and preserving the ruins and all of that sort of stuff.
Well, maybe, as I say, if we can get population here again, that's something to start up. But
yeah,
focus on the future, as they say.
Well, I'd like to focus on the now for the moment so we can get to the future.
Again, just a point. Anyway, I'll go get Lilly ready and.
Okay. If you happen to see Jeverick when you're up there, can you kick his ass and send him down here, please?
Which house was Jeverick in?
He was in the one next to mine, actually. I didn't see him when I knocked on the door this morning.
I'll go. Well, he's a sleepy sod, but I'll go. Yeah, I'll go wake him up.
Brilliant, thank you.
Head up. I think I'll check in on Lilly first. Sort of like poke. You awake?
No.
You're going to sleep forever again. Anyway, you're rude. That's what you're. Anyway, you don't get woken up by the boulder, obviously, but
the boulder. Sorry, I've been wanting to do that for ages.
What boulder?
They've got into the cave. They managed to pull the rocks down so they can access and find the boat. The priest's getting the bodies ready. I think we're going to probably have it around, I don't know, maybe midday or so.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Do you want... I need to go wake up one of the dock workers, but do you want food?
Always.
Goes into the pocket and like the ration biscuits.
Just see a hand come up. Thank you.
All right. I'll be back in a bit.
Okay.
Enjoy. I then walk along. Yeah, go to the door next to the mayor's and Jeverick.
No answer.
Jeverick.
No answer.
I swear by all fingers. If I'm coming in. Come in.
You enter in. You can see there's a bedroll on the floor. Looks like somebody has slept there, but there's nobody here.
Jeverick. What do I know, Jeverick?
What do you know of him? He's another one of the port workers. Does similar work to what you do. Goes out. He's more focused on going out westward, so he travels more between Erethinus and Westhook. Whereas you're more universal and you go everywhere. He's got like a particular path that he goes on all of the time. He's originally, from what you know, he's originally from Westhook.
Oh.
And as he got older, he took work from Erethinus. He's human. He is probably about 6 foot, 6'5". He's quite tall,
Damn.
very, very scrawny, and he's got like a large tuft of red hair. He's very, very sort of like red haired, and yeah.
Again, I think this is where this kind of hinders Bram, where he's sociable, but he hasn't hung out around the bars. He doesn't, like, he's friendly with the other workers, but not enough to be like, oh yeah, Bram will always buy you a drink. And I think, him sort of like, again, like pipe tapping against the chin. Right. I mean, he could have glances towards, interesting. Right, I'll go inform the mayor that we have someone who is not performing his duties. Dun, folks. Especially when I'm hearing the name, I'm like, oh god, okay, here we go. Go back, come in, and like, quite, so like, good morning, Lilly, good to see you. Have you got out of your blankets?
It just literally blobs out, just like, I'm awake.
It's a fine morning here as I get on my knees, and look, one of the workers is gone.
What do you mean gone?
One of
Gone.
the dark workers.
Okay. Suspect. Ha.
I mean, usually I'd be like, okay, he's just in this passage, but it's very coincidental.
Exactly. So they're either trying to murder one of us, or they've gone trying to look for the entrance.
Well, he can't get in. I mean, there's a possibility he might have just, got drunk and fallen into the swamp. Unlikely. Or he's here to steal. But then
I'm going to find him and probably burn him. Let's go!
Just as you sort of get it, Javrik, about my height, human, red hair. Also, just don't let anyone take your blood. Just good life advice. But
I mean, who gives their blood away just all willy-nilly?
Well, you get punched in the nose and you splatter, and then they go, "Oh, is that enough to do blood magic?"
Oh.
I mean, I've been hearing stories that there's people who do like blood runes. It's not my magic.
That must be quite painful. I don't have anything else.
I don't know.
Like paper cuts. Do they like paper cuts? Anyway, we're getting off topic. Let's go.
Let's get up. Head on a swivel.
You can make your way down. The work's still going on. You basically, it's just a waiting game at the moment. Once the rocks are finally cleared, the workers and Adara go in and they begin collecting other bodies. All of the bodies that have already been collected have all been covered over with blankets, so they can't be seen. And the priestess has been going around and performing the funeral rites for sort of like the funeral prayers and things for each of them. In total, there are 6 bodies that are pulled out of the cave. One of them was on the gangway plank, which Lilly would know would be the quartermaster, who basically died right next to her, who she woke up next to. You do, if you happen to go in there, Bram, you do notice there is a lot of stone-like dust sort of around his, not around his body, but near his body in a semicircle.
I read Lilly's book, right?
Sometimes when a dragon or a dragonkin slumbers, their body does encase itself into stone to preserve it.
Interesting. That stone's not I was going to say worth anything, but it's not something Lilly would want, right?
No, it's just evidence that she was there.
I'm just saying because again, folks, hopefully in the time this works out, we know there's something about if a dragon is sleeping in an area things happen. You know,
Yeah,
plants grow.
Dragonthorn begins to grow, but it's only for a dragon. So you don't see anything growing around near this area.
I was also just going because Dragonthorn's worth quite a lot. If there was also like a side thing, like, oh yeah, we use this as for potions and stuff. And like, hey Lily, can we use your dust? Dust. Anybody? Dust.
The other 5 bodies are on the rear end of the barge that was still within the cave area. There is the boat's person who was controlling the boat, an elderly. This is who Lily would know was there because you can't really tell by bones. Elderly lady that Lily used to see quite a lot, especially in the bathhouse, and a family of 3, and they're all pulled out and put with the other bodies.
I think I go back to Lily and sort of say, right, these are the people. Have you got names? Compare. Give it to talking to the priest. Just quickly, this priest, would you say shorter than average?
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
They're not a dark elf, I'll tell you that. So they're not Gwen, if that's what you're thinking.
It's always worth checking.
That would be real meta if I made it Gwen.
It would be very funny if it's like, because I don't think I've ever actually properly been like, oh, hello. It's also Sister Staceland is here in the background. No, I sort of like again check in with the priest to make sure all is well. Again, Bram also has a word with the other dockhands and go, I mean, one of your numbers seems to have gone,
Yeah, Jeffrick's disappeared. That's really odd. Yeah, could have used his help. We could have got this all done a lot quicker.
Yeah. Did he, again, sort of like, because Bram's not doing the I'm the boss kind of thing, but also because he's like, we're all working together. It's like, what do you think? Does he seem the sort who would, like, shirk his duty, or...?
No, never. He's always. I mean, he's. Well, we say that he wouldn't ever take any other routes other than the ones between Westwick and Erethinis. So, whereas the rest of us would do similar work to you when we worked on the barges. Not all of us work on the barges all of the time, but when we do, we'd always go in whatever direction we needed. But he was always adamant that he would work Westwick to Erethinis and nowhere else.
I'm going to do an insight. Actually, I'll tell you what I'm thinking. Because Bram's like, okay, Bram, like with his father, also sort of did some... Well, he would never say criminal, but to work stuff. Does it sound like Jeffrick was smuggling?
I would say you wouldn't need to make a check for that. If that's what Bram believes...
would that make sense?
It would make sense. It would make sense with the only ever doing one route.
Yeah. And being very particular that no one else took that route, that he was the only one who... Yeah. I think I'm talking, I'm going to... the lads.
When I say take that route, because obviously you've gone that way as well, it's more that he always sails out at particular times. Nobody else takes those time slots. It's always him that goes on those.
Again, if you're using his sort of like a bit of like... Yeah, I mean, my father ran little cons, but wasn't a full-on like smuggler, but enough to be able to go, that sounds very particular of these are the shipments that come in at this time. Jeffrick's the one you can trust to smuggle things south. Yeah. I think I'm calling them the lads, these dockhands. Well, I'm like, well, lads, as you know, I'm taking care of the daughter of the mayor. I understand the temptation to get stuff out of here, but obviously it's the dead. It's not right. I'm just if he does turn up again, can someone let me know? I don't like the idea that he's been stealing from the dead. It just doesn't seem right.
Yeah. We'll definitely let you know if anything happens. Definitely.
Yeah. Thanks. Drinks on me when we get back to town. You've
okay.
Done,
yeah,
you've
fine.
all done it. Because he's been around and sort of helped them all. So we've done an excellent job.
Thanks, Brad. That'd be nice to get to spend a bit of time with you at the bar. Yeah.
No, I've sort of, I don't know. I've sort of been a bit, we'll have a drink. see.
So funeral rites are prepared, and both pyres are lit once all of the bodies are in place. 2 separate prayers are said by the priest of balance. Basically, there is one that is said in common, which is done for the people of Volgara, and then there's one that's done in more of an imperial-based language for those from the Imperium, as would be the funeral rite. And while that fire is burning, the mayor will just come to sort of stand with the pair of you and be like, right, we're going to be looking to leave here before nightfall. There's nothing else for us to do here currently. Will you be joining us, or would you like to spend some more time to say goodbye, Lily?
I'd like to stay a little. Did you find that tall human red-headed person?
No, it's kind of worrying. We think he may, because the guy said that, you know, he went to bed quite early last night, so he may have fallen in. We're going to give one more search before we leave, but
I can help you search. I know this area better than you do. But I will say that if it was anything bad, if he was stealing from anybody, I want to see him myself. Please, can you bring him to me?
yes,
If you get him before I do.
yes, we can definitely do that. I do have some things that I also need to check on as well, sort of marsh, land sort of stuff. So I will take my leave and do that.
We'll be back in a few days. We'll let things settle.
Okay,
As I said, Mayor, if we can start thinking about maybe, I know that if it's all right with you, Lily, there's probably are people who wouldn't appreciate having a good home and being able to set up a business.
Yeah, if they're people that are in need, and you know they're good people, and we'll look after the bathhouse. Yeah. But no one's allowed to move in to my house because it's my house.
I think both me and the mayor sort of nod very similarly. Like, yeah, no.
Yep, okay, we'll keep your house separate.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'd like a plaque made saying it's my house.
Okay.
We can get off that. Yeah.
I will take my leave so I can finish the business that I have here, but I will see you all soon.
Off the hand, polite sort of.
Thank you for your help, and thank you for bringing this to my attention.
It was the right thing to do, sir. I'm glad these souls can finally cross the bridge in peace.
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. Blah blah blah.
He just sort of laughs and then he walks off. For anybody,
Bram's like shaking the hands of everyone. Is sort of like thank you for sorting it. Where he's like, I'm the boss.
The other 4 workers are going to spend some time looking for their comrade who has disappeared. You can help them if you want. What's your passive perceptions?
13.
9.
Passive perception of 13. You do notice that the mayor goes into the cave.
I follow.
Yeah, I'll let Lily follow.
I'm not even hiding. I'm not even sneaking. I'm just like, it's my cave.
It's my town.
It's my town. It's my cave.
Are you being stealthy or are you just following?
I'm following.
Okay, you follow, and he stops right where your dust sort of would have been, and turns to look at you. Hi, Lily. Can I help you with anything?
Well, you said you wanted to check some stuff.
Yes, I need to check on something. Yes, before I leave.
Yeah, I'll help you if you do it in here.
Okay. Come here then, please.
Come where?
Here, like to where I'm stood.
Why?
Well, I don't want to shout it across the cave.
Oh, okay. Do you need to fart? Do you want me to cough while you fart?
No, it's not that. As you get up, do you walk up to him?
Slowly.
Yeah, you walk up to him slowly, and he's just stood there. It's completely dark in here, and just as you get a bit closer, there's a flame that lights up as he lights the torch, and you can see his face, and he's just got a gentle smile on his face. Well, I mean, you're technically the leader of the town currently, so
I am.
and you are your father's daughter, so I don't see any point in hiding this from you. And he just pulls on that torch. You slept under the torch that was the doorway. And as he pulls on the torch, the doorway lifts up and you can see a really dusty stairwell that leads up. There's something here that I just need to make sure is still secure. You're more than welcome to come with me if you'd like to.
I'm coming with you.
Okay. And he's going to begin making his way up the stairs and you can follow behind him. Bram, you are staying with the workers to look for this other figure, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to try trying to sneakily up.
So I'm like, so we check the outhouses, chicken houses. Hold on, as I'm sort of like Phil, I'm being dragged.
Yeah, there's a mage hand that's dragging you backwards. Like,
okay, I think the mayors want me, but
yeah, no, it's fine. We're going to check all the houses here, and then we'll check the houses down here. We'll check the bathhouse, and we'll give a little poke in the water as well to see if there's anything in there.
Guardians, bless the man. Let's hope he hasn't gone in, but
hopefully.
Yeah. Again, like I said, if I don't get to see you before you go, excellent work today, lads. Thank you.
Thank you. Same to you. And they carry on and do what they do. And you can quickly catch up with Lilly and with the mayor. The mayor turns around and is kind of surprised to see you, but then looks to Lilly and is like, oh, no, that makes sense. Come on then.
I'm like,
You see the sleepy mayor in chair go, "La, la, la, la."
I think Bram's face is very much like, I know what's going on, rather than be like, ooh, there's a mysterious passage. It's like, yeah.
You make your way up. It's not, I do that as if it's a spiral. It's not. It's like a straight staircase that goes up, and it leads out into almost a natural cave formation. There's no, you can't see the sky. It's like literally just a cave, and in front of you, is a rather large door that is taking up what looks to be the entrance to a cave. You can see that this doorway is obviously not natural, but it looks like the rocks have melded around it in some sort of strange way. And you can see that there on the front of the door, bang smack in the center, there is a slit that goes right up the middle, and just off that slit there is a handle that looks like it has sort of a circle on the, so it's like a normal doorknob, but it's got a circle, large circle on the outside and a small circle on the inside where you put your hand on. Oh,
I'll
okay.
put my hand on it.
The door.
She's already moving.
I'm not putting my hand on it.
Oh, you're not putting
Not
your hand
happening.
on it.
No.
Right, the door seems to be closed. That's good. That means it must be safe. Good.
Did you saw the former mayor open it? Have you seen what's in there?
I know what's in there. I don't know how to get in there.
Right.
Did your missing friend know?
Missing? Oh, you mean Jeverick?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
Why has he gone missing then? Is he looking for it?
I don't know. I honestly,
Okay.
I do. You can insight check him.
It's
Yeah.
She's rubbish at it. But
I'll give you an advantage. I'll give you
Oh,
help.
right.
Where Bram is not threatening, but again, like I keep like standing there at full height, quietly, pipe in mouth, just being like,
15.
He looks generally shocked and confused at your question towards him. He generally doesn't know what you're on about. He-
If there's something secret and there's one of you missing, I'm slightly frightened that they know about the thing.
As there's sort of like a realization that sort of comes over his face. He's like, oh shit, maybe he didn't fall into the swamp. Where is he? What is he doing?
There's a secret and you've got someone living around. She's saying it really weirdly, just in case to stop it from echoing. Maybe he's trying to look for it.
and it's been sealed for half a decade, so.
Does a 25 hit you, Lilly?
Oh! Yes.
As you're doing this and you're sort of going, you feel a sharp pain on your hand as a cut forms on your hand. As this cut forms, you watch as this figure shimmers into existence as if it had been invisible and appears, and you can see this as I described before, a tall figure with red hair. He looks slightly different to how he was when you travelled up here. He's wearing imperial armor with a red band on his side, and he's got a red balaclava type thing that's pulled up with jagged teeth on it. And as he's cut across your hand, he spins out and between all of you, and then runs and slams the dagger up against the door because the dagger's got your blood on it.
While this is happening, can I push Mel or Bram, whoever's in the way, and back and breath straight on him, like literally.
I think it's Bram, because you see Bram has got like the machete ready and is going, and you shove him aside. So it's you basically
just like I can breathe. Like,
yeah, you save Bram's life here because he would have attacked, and then you would have But, yeah.
And as you go to breathe this and push Bram out of the way, the mare just instantly drops and is sort of cowering as this breath goes over. What sort of save does he need to make?
Hang on.
I swear to God, if you kill Jeverick this timeline, so much else is going to be affected.
I was wondering if you're going to realise who it was.
As soon as you said the name, I was like, oh, God.
Dexterity saving throw.
Awesome. He gets advantage on this.
Cool, I thought he might. But it's the first thing that will come to her, like, quick and...
Yeah.
18?
Yeah.
So as breath sort of comes out, you
take half damage if he beats it, though. Takes half damage.
Unfortunately, he takes no damage. Actually, no, he does take half damage. So yes, do half damage to him.
Oh yes, I will.
He's not that high a rogue.
Gonna kick him.
Plus, having that on an NPC is broken.
It'd be very funny. He's like cartwheeling.
Oh, half of 16.
He takes 8 points of damage. Is it acid that you're doing?
I believe it is, yes.
Yeah, so
yes, it is.
His skin boils and bubbles a little bit. That's a nice little scar that he's now going to have that you've not seen in the current timeline. But as he goes to dodge out of the way of it, the blade slips and the blood sort of... And you watch as these lights begin to appear on the handle, shoot down these veins into the door itself, and then begin to spark outwards, and the door... and then opens up. I'm doing a lot of visual things here. Basically, the door opens. And as he dodges out of the way and rolls, as the door finishes opening, you can see on the other end there is a large... I say large, it's almost like 4 fists. So 2 fists like that, 2 fists like that, golden... heart. Well, it's got a golden case, but it's got like a clear crystal center with something pulsing inside of it. And as he dodges around, he sprints towards it, jumps and grabs it, looks towards the pair of you. You can see his cheekbones raise up as if he's smiling, and it looks like the mask is doing this really sinister sort of Joker smile. And then he vanishes.
I was going to say, because I know dramatic causality, Bram has been, because he's got an orc like bonus dash. I want to be like my hand closes and he's just gone. He's tried. He's done his best to stop this. Just hear Bram go, "Fuck." Sorry.
Lilly is swearing in Draconic.
And thus Bram learns some very strong Draconic words. You're right, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, I'm fine. What the hell was that about?
Right, okay, so whatever artifact was in there, it seems that
your man who you brought to my town and my blood door, your man did this.
He's worked for us for years. He's been in the town since he was young. I didn't know. I'm sorry.
What is he? Where is he from? I want his blood now.
As far as he was from Westhook. His family lived in Westhook. Or lives in Westhook.
Bram looks down at his own red scarf, looks up, and he's like, "Red scarf gang. Interesting. Very interesting." I'm sure that.
You don't make the connection to Red Scarf Gang, but
it's sort of like, he's wearing a red scarf in his face, and he's like, "Interesting." I'm sure that won't have any repercussions for me in the not too distant future.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the mayor's like, shit. No, we can't have somebody get hold of that. I just wanted to check to make sure the door was shut and hadn't been opened. I wasn't expecting.
I'm
I didn't
so
want you to.
curious because I had to follow you in case you were going to do something with it.
But I couldn't get in there.
We got tricked. Both of you. We got tricked. We should have been more cautious. We should have just left it be. You know, that's the problem if you're trying to think about these artifacts, wherever they are. You know, the smartest thing to do is keep them separate. But right, okay, cards on the table. We knew, you knew. Do you know anything else about any other artifacts?
No, I just know that we were entrusted with the safekeeping of this dragon heart, and we had to keep it safe. And when Valdris moved to Vorgara and took over the town, and we met him for the first time, he explained that he'd found this location, and that's when we introduced him to the dragon heart, because it used to be in Erethinis, and when he discovered this location, we were like, this is the best place for it to be. It can't get into the hands of others. It's got tremendous power that we don't understand.
Why is it a dragon heart? Why was it pumping?
It's the magical energy that's inside of it. We don't know anything about it. Even your father was studying it, and all he knew of it was that it was an ancient dragonkin relic, and that there's 3 other things that go with it. And he pulls out a notebook, and he's like, your father did a lot of research, and we would communicate with each other and do research and things. And he found 2 other locations that he believed where the other artifacts lived, and brief descriptions on what they might have been. He walks over to you and he shows you the book. And if you were to look at the map, which I'll show now, and I'll show where the points are, the first point indicates to where you are currently in Vorgara. The next point goes in almost a diagonal shape, and it goes upwards towards where the sort of the Rune Forge Mountains are up in the north. Almost like so. This is where I'm going to do this for you two, but it'll be on the map for everybody else to make it more simple. This is where Vorgara is, and then it's almost direct diagonal line straight up to the eastern side of the Runeforge Mountains. He goes, that's where there's meant to be a circlet that is supposed to be one of the other artifacts. And then the line then traces almost perfectly down, making a perfect triangle, and it lands on another mountain that's next to a town called Merkstead.
Where we were like, there's temples there.
And this one is supposed to hold an amulet, and when you combine the 3 of them together, it creates your father believed it created an artifact that could literally shift land. That is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Womp.
Womp, womp, womp.
Womp.
Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. We have been Roll Together RPG. If you like what you've seen, we play D&D on Mondays from 6 p.m. UK time. You can also find us all over social media by searching Roll Together RPG. Massive thank you to our sponsors and patrons, and to the D20 Club on Patreon. They are fantastic. They are the best. You can join them from as little as 1 of your local currency per month, or 1 goat, which must be sent to Tom for lots and lots of different reasons. Thank you, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.